All right, we're live, bro. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Swoop Podcast with your hosts, Josh Sanchez and Dante Fantuzzi. Man, bro, it's been a while. How are you doing, man?
Been a while. It's been years, bro. Been years.
I know. So I just catching up, man. I know this year's been crazy for Philly sports, man. Between the
Man,
Eagles going to the Super Bowl, Phillies going to the World Series. Man, I know all this stuff, man. I don't know about you. I had like this itch, to start recording again. So how about you?
I've had the itch for a while now. I just never. And once we had that conversation, that just everything. I'm ready. Let's get back to it.
Of course, I definitely am too, and just want to make sure, Dante. I know your audio is breaking up a little bit, so just want to make sure
Um,
you're good to go. But yeah, I know. So what I'm seeing right now in the draft so far, two quarterbacks. So it's like two quarterbacks are now been drafted already. So like, how do you feel about that so far?
I mean, it was the consensus. How do you say that? Consensus, consensus. It will end up the picks that were going to happen. It was inevitable. We all knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, no, I'm just making sure, that because like I mean, they both teams needed like a quarterback. I know the Panthers did. I know they traded with the Bears. Like that was definitely a lot. Like, do you feel anything about that draft at all, or like that draft pick, or anything like that?
Which draft pick are we talking about?
Oh, just like both. Like if you were the Panthers, like which quarterback would you have chosen? Would you have chosen
Um,
Bryce Young
I,
or?
I would say they're both. It's a flip. It's a toss of it's a flip. Take a coin and flip it. It is what it is. Um, one A, one B. I mean, I do have some concerns with Bryce Young, and there's other concerns that I have with CJ Stroud. So I see it as okay. You got two young prospects, the complete total opposite of each other as far as solid QB play, and which one is going to develop and be that face of the franchise type caliber quarterback, and or can they both get it done? Are they both that that QB1 for their respective franchises are going to be the face of the franchise? Are they both that quarterback?
Oh man, I completely agree. Like, I mean, if you really think about it, remember one of those, let's fast back, to like 2016, right, when we traded up, to get Wentz, right? Like we needed a quarterback to be that guy. And obviously we know what happened with Wentz. Like it ended up not working out. But like
I
to
mean,
be in that
production. It
position.
was all. It was all there to work. It was all there to work. I mean, just the guy got rattled with injuries and had a mental breakdown. I guess you could say. Um,
I
after
know him and
it was
Simmons, man.
yeah, it was 2016 was just a bad draft class.
Oh man, yeah, yes indeed, yes indeed. But yeah, man, I just want to say, man, I'm excited, to be reunited and stuff. We'll do some live streams of whether that's the draft. We'll do Sixers games. I know the second round's coming up, so we'll do some that as well. And man, I'll post all of like our live recordings and stuff after too. So,
Of course.
but I mean, for our live stream podcast, like, I mean, we're just chilling for the most part, right? Like, I know the
So,
Cardinals are on.
are we live on Facebook too?
Yeah, we should be. Yeah, it should be on my Facebook. So I put it on my Facebook. I put it on Twitch. I put it on YouTube. So,
Okay.
so that way it's on all those platforms. This is like my first time doing like a live stream through StreamYard. So I just want to make sure like both our faces are on there and stuff. So that way everyone can see the screen and stuff. So,
Can you
oh
see
man.
me?
Oh, you want me to zoom in?
Yeah, I'm just asking if you can see me or not. I have no idea.
I know that's the only thing. Like I see you and like I see my screen and I see like myself, but like in terms of like us on the screen, I don't see that at all. So that's like this is something that we're learning too. Just making sure that everything's all up to date and stuff. And I might check on YouTube real quick to see, or if you can, just to see like how we look. And then yeah, we'll continue.
So I'm looking at it now, and I don't. I'm looking at it live off my phone, and I don't see neither one of us on there.
Okay, you don't see either one of us? Okay, one
Either
second.
one of us.
Oh man. Let's see. I know that's the thing, because I'm trying to figure out this StreamYard too, making sure that it works. Let's see. Hmm.
Okay, hold on. I just got an alert. I just got an alert. Trade alert, trade alert, trade alert, trade alert, trade alert. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna
Hmm.
read you the details.
I got you.
The Texans have traded up from 12 to 3. The Texans have traded from 12 to 3 and are drafting Will Anderson.
Holy
Wow. Wow.
12 to
So,
3?
so the Texans just got CJ Stroud and Will Anderson.
Oh man, they're swinging for the
Wow.
fences.
Wow. Okay, D'Amico. Wow. D'Amico is playing no games.
I know, you can tell.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm shocked right now.
Hmm. I
Wow.
got you.
Wow. Okay.
I know that is quite the trade. They went from 12 to 3. We got to see what they give it, what they gave up, because they must have given up a lot.
Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Man. I know. So they took 2 and 3. They're not playing. So Will Anderson is gone.
Wow. Wow. And
Man.
wow. Wow. All right. Do we have anything on what they're giving up?
I know that's what I'm trying to see now. I'm trying to find. I'm gonna pull up Twitter real quick to see what they giving up. That's crazy. Sheesh, the Texans. So the Texans, they went from 12 to 3. So they already took their quarterback. Then instead of picking at 12, they move up to 3. They take Will Anderson. So I'm about to figure out what they gave up. So let's see here. All right. So according to Adam Schefter, this just tweeted Cardinals. So the Cardinals, they get the 12th pick, they get the 33rd pick, they get a first round pick next year and a third round pick next year. And the Texans, they also get a third. So that is the trade detail. So the Cardinals, they get a first, a second, a first for next year, and a third for next year. The Texans, they just get a third for this year. And
So
obviously
that
the pick.
so that leaves Indy with Richardson and Levis. Pick your
Yep.
poison.
Oh, man. The Texans, they still have a lot to build, because they have a lot of holes on their team. Like, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely a good starting point for them. Because I know with the whole Deshaun Watson stuff and all of the chaos between the coaches and the owners, and Houston's a mess. So, like, the fact that, they got these 2 picks is a good start for them. Dante, I think I can't hear you. Just want to make sure. Yeah, I just want to check to see if I can hear you. And I can't really hear you. All right, you're good now. I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I was saying was the Texans now have 2 faces of franchises and 2 cornerstone players.
Yep.
2. And it's a great look, especially after what you mentioned, the Deshaun Watson situation, and that whole fiasco and everything that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is wow.
I know. I know. What a start. I know you did call. I remember we were talking to each other beforehand that trades were going to start to happen. We just didn't know what.
Speaking of trades, both forgot to mention that the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals did make a trade. I'm not sure if you saw it or if you got your hands on it or whether the alert came across your phone or not. But the Cardinals were, I'm not going to say forced, but the Cardinals and the Eagles have agreed to both sides have agreed that the Cardinals have to give up their 66 pick in the second round to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles will be giving their, I think it's 94th pick, and
Oh yeah, bro. I just want to make sure you were starting to cut off towards the end because I know you mentioned the Eagles, their second round pick. But what was the other thing you're adding besides that? I just want to make sure that like that your mic's good because I think it's yeah. Yeah, because your mic, bro, your mic has been turning on and off. So I know you mentioned that the Eagles were gonna get the Cardinals second round pick, but what would you like
yes,
to add to the other details?
the Eagles are getting the Arizona Cardinals second round pick, which is the 66 overall pick, and it is due to illegal tampering on Jonathan Gannon.
Oh man.
And the Eagles are to give up their 2024 fifth round pick, which is a compensatory pick.
hmm
And I believe it is the 94th pick, which is going to be a third round pick. So the Eagles are allegedly giving up the third round this year, their third round pick for this year, and a fifth round pick for next year to get Arizona's second round pick.
Okay. And the second round pick is for this year.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, the 66 overall pick.
Okay. I got you. I got you. Okay. So that works with me, man. Now we got an extra second we can throw in if we want to trade up. Because I was going to ask you this question a little bit later, but I figured I can ask you this question now. If you're the Eagles in this situation, are you trading up? Are you staying at 10? Are you trading back? What are you doing if you are the Eagles in this situation? Because before I'll give you some more time to think, right? When was the last time a team that was just in the Super Bowl or just in the big game, right?
Right.
Also have a top 10 pick the following draft, right? So like these opportunities, right, do not happen often. So the person you want to get at this pick, you want it to be like a franchise, generational, shifting type of player. Am I missing that, or how do you feel about that?
Um, I'll be honest with you. I have to wait and see how the draft falls. I can't do anything just yet. I have to wait and see how the draft falls. I think we all know that the Colts are going to take Anthony Richardson at this point. I just think that's the way the deck of cards is going to be set up. Um, but as far as everything else, I just have to wait and see.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I know based off of everything I've been hearing, like the Seahawks pick is going to really decide at everything. Like if because I know Carter has been linked with the Seahawks. There's been something with that going along. There's been reports where he's one there that they want to draft him. There's reports that they don't, depending on how that fifth pick is, how Seattle, is going to handle that pick will determine because the Eagles can definitely trade up to 7 and get Carter if needed. But it just comes down to, right, like that Seattle, who is Seattle going to pick? Because Detroit, they're going based off all the mocks I've seen, they're going probably corner. That's what they were leaning towards. But what do you think about that with Seattle?
I'll be honest with you. Okay, so let me ask you this question: if you're the GM of Seattle, and or if you're Pete Carroll, how much faith do you have in Geno Smith? Just out of,
So,
it's just out of curiosity.
oh no, 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 no. I understand. One of the things for me though, I'm also not thinking about this draft. I'm also thinking about future drafts. And I'm not gonna lie, this quarterback class, I'm not as impressed with this year's quarterback class. So I know if I am Seattle in this particular situation, Geno just led me to the playoffs. I can ride out one more year with Geno, get myself another quality piece to build around, and then look for next year or the following year for like that game-changing quarterback.
But
Um,
okay, so here's where I'd like to differ. Um, Seattle right now has the fifth overall pick for the fifth and 5 and 20. The fifth would is what Denver had traded to them to get Russell Wilson. You have Will Levis right now, who we all know is going to be a project. Me, if I'm Seattle, I'm looking at it as okay. I need my quarterback of the future because Geno Smith just isn't my quarterback of the future. He's not going to be my quarterback for the next decade plus. If I can get my hands on a quarterback now and let him sit for 1 year to learn, for just for 1 year, 2 years, however long you decide to do, what better position are you in than now? Because right now they have a top 5 pick.
True, true. You're right. I mean, they definitely do have a top 5 pick.
Just thinking about it now, I mean, all we know is one quarterback to come up for next year. One
Mhm.
one quarterback that is projected to be the top quarterback for next year, and that's the kid Caleb Williams from USC. So, how much can you bank on waiting another year to draft that quarterback of the future? Because if
You're
I be
right. I
honest,
mean,
Gino was a one hit wonder to me.
well, you're not as sold on Geno, and I understand. Like
Yeah,
Geno is definitely not the long-term solution if I'm Seattle.
right.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, if Geno ends up not working out and being a bust, I can get another top 10, top 5 pick again, you know, and then I can take my chances with a better QB class coming up. I just know for me, this quarterback class, like they're good quarterbacks. There probably will be like one or two out of these names, that like, like they might actually turn into something. I just know the compared to the past couple of years, I just think that this class is sort of missing that extra gear that other classes have. That's just my personal opinion. But I understand what you are saying, though, in terms of like if you're Seattle. Like, I mean, if you get a quarterback here, like,
See,
I mean,
that's
well,
the thinking as a GM and or as a coach. I need to get my guy now because you don't know what's going to happen later. Only thing I am sure and aware of is that right now I have the number 5 overall pick. I need a quarterback for the future. I have a good young team that if it doesn't work out for this year and my quarterback isn't ready this year, I can just wait this year. I could put off this year and then worry about the following year. Because let's be honest, Seattle definitely does have a good young team. They have their running back of the future. They drafted those 2 cornerbacks last year that showed a lot of potential and promise. Um, they still have good young defensive players on the defensive on the defensive line. They still have good young players. So your real key pieces, okay, quarterback, wide receiver. Because I mean, sooner or later, you're going to need somebody to go opposite of DK as well.
true. You're not wrong on that one. And that's the thing, like, and that's why it's tough to be a GM because, like you just explained with Seattle, right? Like, there's so many holes that they still need to work on too. And for you, like, you want to get that guy. So if you have a chance to get a quarterback, like, you're gonna take it. Now, if you're Seattle, though, 3 quarterbacks have been gone already
Yeah.
in the 3 picks. I know for the Eagles, I'm feeling good right now. I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, 3 quarterbacks go. That means better chances here. If Jalen Carter does not get picked here, I've been on Jalen Carter since day one, bro. I know he has some off the field question marks, but I know if you put him in the right environment, which Philadelphia, we have a good culture going right now. I definitely think him being around this good culture can really help change him. And if he does not get picked here, I want us to trade up right to that 7 spot, and I want us to take him.
Well,
That's just me, though.
I don't know if you're able to see me or not, brother, but I got my hard hat on.
I know, and this is, and I just want to apologize for everyone that is listening. Like, I know I just checked YouTube too. I don't know what's going on. So I see you here. Like, I see you on our screen. That's what I'm saying. Like we both see each other, but like I check on YouTube and I just don't see us at all. I'm like, I
Here's the
don't know.
thing, bro. I don't see you,
You
and
don't
I
see
don't
me at
see
all?
myself.
Oh goodness, this is weird then. Let me see.
I don't see you, and I don't see myself.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can, because I'm gonna talk to Isaiah because he showed me how to do it. I'll get better at it as we go. This is just like our first. Like I see you perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't see you at all, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we're in the studio too, so that's why I'm like, I don't know. That is strange. Let's see here. See if I can like finesse this or something. Very strange. I don't know what. Let me see something real quick. That's what I'm saying. Like we hear each other really well. I don't know what is going on with our.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I hear you. You hear me. And like I also had like I have a share screen going too of like each pick and each team that's on the clock. That's why I'm like, let's see.
Okay, now I see myself again.
Okay, so you see yourself. All right. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna figure this out. But yeah, I mean this is our first stream anyway, so we'll get better as as we get going, but this is weird. Let's see here. I know I created our own layout and everything. I don't know what's going on.
Um, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Because I've done this a couple times with a different podcast group,
Hmm.
and I didn't have this issue.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I've done this plenty of times too. That's why I'm like, I don't understand. It might be just something. I don't know. And I know Seattle, their pick is in, so this is going to be.
All right. What are you feeling, Josh? What are you feeling? What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
If I'm Seattle here, I'm taking a pass rusher because their pass rush was terrible
I'll be
last year.
straightforward and honest. I think they're going Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why, like, if Jalen Carter gets past Seattle, Eagles are trading up immediately. It's an easy trade up. But if he, man, if he's not, like, if he doesn't get past this, then I don't know.
What's there? They're killing me.
I know I can pull up the board. So right now, here's let's look at the best available real quick. You got Robinson, obviously. You got Tyree Wilson.
Okay. What are your feelings about Bijan Robinson?
I'm not taking him at 10, but if we find a way to trade back and get him in the teens, like I don't mind us getting a running back in the first round. If it's towards the later first round, I don't care. But getting a running back at 10, like I feel like he's a good short-term solution. Like, don't get me wrong, like him and Jalen Hurts in the backfield are going to be dirty. Oh yeah, but I'll continue my point real quick. I know Weatherspoon just got drafted by the Seahawks. So Carter is still available, bro. Carter is still available.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's up.
Yeah, I know. So if I'm the Eagles, Howie, we got to call up. We got to trade up. We got to get to this 7 spot real quick because I know the Bears have mentioned that they want him or they need a lineman or something. But yes,
Seattle's going Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Detroit goes Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, because I know Detroit, they need a corner. They just traded one of their nice corners.
Yep.
So there we go. So now looking good. What if we don't even have to trade and Carter's just right there? That would be insane. Man.
What do you think Vegas does?
That's why I wanted us to trade for 7 because I think Vegas has been open to trading with us. But I don't really know. Las Vegas, I mean, they don't have Carr. I mean, but 3 quarterbacks have already been taken already. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, huh, I don't really know. That's a good question. I mean, that's a pretty good question. What do you think?
Ugh, it's hard. It's tough because Vegas is a mess. Uh, Vegas. Okay, Vegas is a mess. We all know that. Atlanta. See, Atlanta. They just magically find ways to screw their team up every year. They just magically find ways to just find something that's gonna go do 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 do. So I can't. I don't like. For some reason, I say Atlanta just because they're the Falcons will probably take Bijan Robinson at 8.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one. I know there's been reports like Atlanta would be the one organization to draft a running back right there, right there at 8 when they have so many other holes that they need to fill. And that's the thing too, and that's what makes this tough because running backs they take a beating, and like they're really like running backs that get taken early in the draft. If I'm a team, and let me know if you agree or disagree, Dante. So let's say like I'm a team like I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles took Robinson,
Uh-huh.
but I would be like okay, like because the Eagles are the example, right? Like you pretty much have all of the pieces together. You got your quarterback, you got your linemen, you got your wide receivers. So like drafting a running back high is sort of like the missing piece, right? Unless you are in a situation like that where you have a solid line, you're pretty much built solidly, right? Then I don't see the point of drafting a running back in the top 10. Top 15 is borderline for me, right? So like if the Eagles did take Robinson at 10, I would not be like mad because the Eagles are in win now mode, right? You're a lineman, you have a couple more years left with some of your linemen, right? Like the offense would be unstoppable. But unless you have a solid foundation like that, there is no need to draft her because running backs are they're going to give you a couple great years, but by their fifth, sixth year, like you saw it with Zeke, like he slowly declined each year, you know? So like Christian McCaffrey is still great, but he has missed so many games due to injury. Like
That's
that's just part of the position.
that's literally what I was going to point out to you.
Yeah.
McCaffrey and Saquon. They were both drafted in the top 5,
Yeah.
top 10 per se, and they're both injury prone. So when history tells you, okay, Zeke was taken 4th overall by Dallas, right? Okay, first 3 years really good, arguably top 2 and not 2 as far as his position goes. Year 4, still top 2. You can make the case that year it was him, Le'Veon, as the top 2 backs in the league. But once he got paid, it was like he fell off a cliff. Um,
Yeah.
Saquon,
Yep.
year 1, outstanding, 1,300 yards on the ground, and I think it was another 500 as far as through the air. CMC, phenomenal running back, can't stay healthy, just can't stay healthy. He was what one of the very few to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. Can't stay healthy after that. So it's like I can't invest a, a top 10 pick into a position that they're no good after 4 or 5 years. When I can go and get me a guy as a la Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson. I can go and get me, I don't know, Paris Johnson, Peter Skoronsky. A player at a different position that I can get more out of, and they're going to be here longer. They'll be more durable. So I'm not a fan. I wouldn't mind if they took Bijan, but as far as top 10, I can't do top 10 because then at that point, once you draft him top 10 after his 5th year, after his 5th year, because I'm pretty sure you control for 5 years, 4 years in a contract, and a 5th year, team option. After that 5th year, you're forced to pay him. You're just forced to. You can't pull a Miles Sanders on this kid because what did the Eagles do? The Eagles kept Miles Sanders, gave him a 5th-year option, let him walk, and it wasn't really going to kill you because he was a 2nd-round pick. I can't do it. I can't invest a top 10 pick into that position because that position is by far the most devalued position in the league right now. Oh, hold on! Trade alert!
Yep, I know. I was just about to say trade alert.
To the Cardinals. Okay. Okay, what are we doing? What do you think the Cardinals are doing?
I don't know. They're a mess. That's another team. That's what I'm saying. Like they can go any direction here.
You think Gannon pulls the cannon and he takes Jalen Carter?
I can see that just because he's a defensive-minded guy and, first pick, defensive-minded coach, even though he was a terrible defensive coordinator. Like, I don't get me started on freaking Johnson.
Please.
All right. Good. Okay. They got Paris Johnson. Okay.
So the details have come out. The Cardinals received the 6th overall pick, and the Lions have received the 12th overall pick and a 2023 2nd-round pick, which will be the 34th overall pick.
And you know why the Lions did that? Because guess who they wanted at 6? They wanted Witherspoon, right?
Yeah.
So now because Gonzalez is going to be there at 12, I believe.
You think Gonzalez goes to Vegas? They need help on that secondary bad.
True, they do. If Gonzalez doesn't go here, I can see Gonzalez falling to like around that 12 range. Because I know the Eagles there was a lot of talks about him being there when the Eagles take him. So, that's probably why the Lions traded back. They wanted their guy Witherspoon because I know that's who they wanted. Yeah. And the fact that they did not get him, man, oh man. Oh man. So
I can give you this, Josh. I may or may not know a guy, may or may not, allegedly. I refuse to ever give up my secrets or my sources. May or may know a guy who's there and is giving me details on certain things. But I put him on Do Not Disturb because I refuse to let him ruin my NFL draft experience. I may or may not know a guy. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know.
Oh, man.
But I will say, this guy may or may have showed me that Bryce Young was going number 1 15 before the draft started. 15 minutes before the draft started.
Yeah.
May or may not. I don't know. It's always a secret. But back to the draft. Hey, look, Arizona's trying to protect their QB1, and there's a start.
I know. You got to build from the trenches. That's what it all starts. Andy Reid set the foundation. It's the Eagles have done it, and we have. We've been like 9-7, Super Bowl. Couple of middle of the pack years, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is the start of something for us, and our line is the foundation. It's that simple.
I got a text here. I'm not trying to open it. I'm not gonna open it. Not doing it. Okay. 6 picks have been made so far. 5 of them either from the SEC or from all right, we're good. Ohio State. We're good. It wasn't him. It was somebody else. Here involving Arizona and Detroit. Takes us down to the stage and Susie. You protected Justin Fields, CJ Stroud. Any update on that Celtics and Hawks game?
Man, I was just about to pull that up now.
Yep.
Give me one second. I'm about to pull it up.
Okay, end of the first, 35-34 Celtics. End of the first quarter.
I'm not gonna lie. If the Hawks end up winning this one, oh man.
I'll tell you this: once I see the Hawks win Game 5 to force a Game 6, immediately I thought, okay, what if the Sixers get a revenge tour going? We beat Atlanta if they come back to win that series, and we beat Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. How does that
I
make you?
know, man. I mean, I would love it. I'm not gonna lie. The way how Philly sports have been this year, I would not be surprised if the Sixers were the dark horse team that actually ended up winning this thing. Now, injuries are going to be a big question. I mean, we already saw it last round with
Oh, please don't.
Embiid and Harden. Harden can't keeps fronting every layup, bro. Like he gets by the person and then he just doesn't have that lift on his foot to get. He's short every time. Like his layup is short every single time.
Now, you know what? There's a couple things I did notice, right? As far as James Harden goes in the last round. And it bothered me because it's like, dude, like it's technique. Like when you're taught to shoot a basketball, you're taught to release the ball at the high point of your jump. Because when you release the ball at the high point of your jump, you get a better arc on the ball. But for some reason, he is releasing the ball on the way back down from his jump. And that's why he's front rimming a lot of those 2-point jump shots. Those little mid rangers that he was taking, you're front rimming it because you're releasing the ball on the way back down. Now I don't know if that's the injury to the leg, or is it you're trying to play to get the foul? Are you playing to get a foul, or like what are you doing? It bothered me.
Yeah, I completely agree because like with him, the issue wasn't getting by people. Like he was getting by Mikal Bridges, he was getting by Nick Claxton.
Oh,
Like he was.
I don't know about that one, brother. Nick
I mean,
Claxton sometimes put the safety belt on him.
well, I mean a couple times, but I mean, my point is like he had some good drives on everyone. And the Nets, one of the strengths about the Nets is they have a lot of wings and big bodies that they can throw at Harden. And I thought Harden, in terms of like getting by them and like shaking them up and getting that first step, was good. It was just like you said, like as he's getting into the lane, I don't know if he's trying to draw the foul. I don't know if he's like you said, like he's not releasing it quick enough. But whatever it is, like
Yes.
he would get by the person and
Yes.
then not make it. And the thing is, here's another thing too, right? If you cannot show the referees that you can make those layups, you're not going to get the calls. So like that's another thing too. Like this is something to just think about as the playoffs go along. If Harden continues to short these layups, he's not going to get the fouls called that he normally gets because the referees, right? You got to show them that like you're actually like earning it and they're actually altering your shot. So and that was something too, like with the Nets, because like he would get by them and then he wouldn't finish. If he would have finished a couple of those layups, he would have gotten some of those ticky-tack fouls that he normally gets because he's showing the referees like, look, like I can make this shot. So like that's another thing too, just to think about because I'm not gonna lie, against Brooklyn, we can get away with those missing layups. But against Boston, because Boston, they love to run. And all it takes, is for Harden to go short on the layup. Boston gets a rebound, and now they're in the fast break.
Yep.
Because that's what Boston's going to do if we do play Boston, right? Like these playoffs have been crazy. You never know. But Boston, they want to get the rebound and they want to go. They want to put Embiid on the pick and rolls. They know he's going to do the drop coverage. They're going to make him move all game. So like us making shots is going to be very important because it slows the game down. So that's just something to think about over the course of the game, especially when it gets to crunch time. You got to make those timely threes. And update, I know Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech, has just been drafted by the Raiders. So Jalen Carter is still available. Still available, bro. If he's there at 10 and we didn't even have to trade to get him, take him. You got to take him.
I think Philly trades with Atlanta here.
Yeah.
I think they do it.
Yep. I agree. I know. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And
I think Larry Roseman pulls the plug and trade. Yeah, I think I can see the Eagles train their pick right here. I can see it. I think Atlanta might. I think Chicago might end up wanting to take Jalen Carter.
I mean, that's another thing too. Chicago, like they need some lineman help too. And if they want Justin Fields, right,
Yeah, they want
to
her to
be
stay
the
like that.
answer,
Yeah.
that's the thing too. Like I could see the Bears, like I mentioned earlier, like taking Jalen Carter, but I can also see them getting a lineman because I mean, if Justin Fields is your guy, like you got to protect him. I mean, he was getting smacked. I remember
Yes,
when
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of options here. I want Jalen Carter, but I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles took a lineman either, an offensive lineman, because that's just been their track record. Like they like to they love to build from the trenches, and that's what works, you know. Because I know Skaransky too is another good one, so that's just something to another name to throw out there at 10. But we're getting close, man. We're getting close. I'm surprised though. So it looks like the other teams, they're like, yeah, Jalen Carter compared to these guys, they're better. Even though Jalen Carter won a national title. So just saying. And he played in the SEC, the toughest conference in the nation. So man.
Oh, I don't know how this is gonna go.
I don't either. That's why I like this draft. That's why I think this draft is different from others. Like in other drafts, we kind of got a feel, right? But this draft, you have no idea. Like Tyree Wilson ahead of Jalen Carter and stuff, man. Because you know what the league has turned into, bro? It's turned into interior pass rush. You need to have solid interior up the A gaps right in the quarterback's face. That's more valuable than edge rushers. Edge rushers are still valuable, don't get me wrong. But if you have a chance to get a premier interior pass rusher compared to an edge rusher, you got to go with the inside because they're harder to find, you know. But that's just something I've thought. Like, can they? And they?
Oh, I just got a text. So I just got a text. I told you. I told you it was gonna happen. Wait, not the Eagles trade, but I just got a text. The Falcons again.
Oh, man.
They drafted Bijan Robinson.
What?
Bijan.
What?
I just got the text right here.
Oh man.
I will put it out there. You know, I may or may not know a guy out there, but I just got a text. The Falcons are taking Bijan Robinson.
Man, Atlanta, what are they doing? Goodness, when you first said that, I'm just shaking my head, bro. Like if I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, what the hell am I doing?
Can I just point this out though? Can I just point this out? All right. I know Philadelphia Eagles fans are going to be so pissed tomorrow, calling every radio station there is about the Eagles not taking Bijan Robinson. Because I'm not sure if you listen to, you know, our local sports radio stations and whatnot, but yeah, everybody wanted Bijan. Everybody wanted Bijan.
Yeah, no, like I've listened to the radio from here and there, but that's what everybody wanted? Everyone wanted Bijan Robinson.
I am a faithful listener, brother. I listen every day.
And that's what everybody wanted?
Every single person wanted Bijan.
Yeah, like I understand it. But at 10, like you said, at 10, I'm not doing that, especially if he goes, like you said, like if he goes 8, that's not worth it. I mean, you saw what happened with the Giants and Saquon. Saquon, what did he go 2?
I think I could look it up. Saquon Barkley.
And don't get me wrong, Saquon is a beast when healthy. Like he carried them to the playoffs this past year. Like Saquon Barkley is a transformative type of player.
He was the number 2 overall pick back in
number 2.
Yeah.
To take him at 2, the Giants, they finally made the playoffs, right? For the first time in forever. But like to take a running back at 2, it's not worth it. How many games has he missed? And some of it's not even his fault. It's just a game that you play. Like football is so physical. So the fact that that was the case, like I don't know. So for everyone that's just tuning in, Dante just got an alert from a friend or source that is in the draft. And I was told, and we were told that Bijan Robinson just got picked 8th overall in Atlanta. And that is one of our questions for you guys to think about for this live stream. Is a running back worth a top 10 pick?
Yep.
So Dante, so like that's a question I'm going to put in our show description. Like, is a running back worth a top 10 pick? Something that you have to think and answer to yourself. Everyone's going to have their opinions. Me and Dante both say, yeah, we're not taking a running back at 10. That's a dead mission. So,
but yeah, just to piggyback off of Josh, I may or may not know a person that is currently at the NFL draft and is plugged in and just told me Bijan is going at 8. Now,
all right, so let's see.
I did put him on Do Not Disturb, but took him off the Do Not Disturb list, and he told me Bijan's going at 8. So, Philly fans, whoever wanted Bijan, it ain't happening. The most you can get from Bijan is Bijan mustard. Let me take that back. He ain't cutting me no check, so I ain't sponsoring nothing. I ain't getting a check from him. Get a check.
Oh man. Let's see. I know we're waiting for the pick to be in here. I got some sound effects too. All right, let's see. Here we go. Oh, they're hyping up the crowd. Here we go. We got people clapping. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Let's see. We gotta see the Atlanta Falcons fans right up there in the front. You got to see their instant live reaction to this. Let's see if your source is right, bro.
Wait, I just got another text, Josh. I got another text. Jalen Carter is a Philadelphia Eagle.
Oh, man. And you're right.
With the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
And are selecting Jalen Carter.
Yep. I told you. And here's the best part about this trade up. People were expecting us to go to 7. To only go up 1 spot. You don't have to give up that much. You don't have to give up pretty much anything to go up 1 spot. So, I mean, that's great. Honestly, that is Atlanta's stupid for taking a running back this early. But for us to Jalen Carter, I'm happy. It makes sense, right? Right, bro? It makes complete sense.
To me, it makes complete sense for the simple fact is that you did lose Javon Hargrave, one of the better interior defensive linemen. So just to find his replacement in the draft, you get control over Jalen Carter for the next 5 years. By all means, I'm with it. Arguably the best player to come out in the draft this year, who you fill a void, you fill a need, and it's a Howie Roseman thing. They build in the trenches. So now we have, moving forward, we will have Jalen Carter. We're gonna have the Georgia boys, Jalen Carter, and what? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
No, you're good. We got Jordan Davis. We got Nakobe Dean.
Jordan Davis. So we're gonna have the Georgia boys back together. Yep. So
I love it.
Probably going to be posted now on the big screen that the Philadelphia Eagles have made the trade with Chicago.
Yep. There's Adam Schefter right now. Let's see what we gave up. I'm gonna pull up Twitter real quick to see what we gave up, and then we'll go from there. I love the pick. I'm a big fan. I've been saying Javon Carter for the longest, and also score update, bro. Score update. The Hawks are up by 3, 5 minutes left in the second quarter. So just giving you a little live update as well with the current game 6 between Atlanta and the Celtics. But yeah, bro, Jalen Carter going to the Eagles. I'm looking to see what we gave up.
Pretty sure it might have had something to do with that Cardinals pick, number 66.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to see what we gave up because it might have honestly just been a 10-for-9 swap. And then I think, let's see. But yeah, just like we've been talking about, the second the Seahawks took Witherspoon, Jalen Carter to the Eagles was going to happen.
Yep.
So, and the tape on Jalen Carter, and here's why you take the chance for him. And let me know if you agree or not. Again, we just got back from a Super Bowl. How many opportunities are you going to get a top 10 pick after just playing in the Super Bowl? Right? So the Eagles, we know we're going to be a playoff team, right? We are solid, right? So the person that we get at 9-10 has to be a difference maker or has to have the upside, right, of becoming a difference maker. I don't know about you, bro, but the other linemen, no one has been talked about like Jalen Carter. There is comparisons to Fletcher Cox. There is comparisons to a couple of other elite defensive tackles that Jalen Carter was comparing himself to. If you look at the film, bro, this guy is an absolute stud. He's winning off the ball, has multiple moves. He's polished, ready to go.
Beast.
And like, yeah, this is a great pick. Like, if you're the Eagles in this situation, this is the type of player you want to draft. You want to draft a player that has the most highest upside, that has the potential to be the best player in the draft. And that is what Jalen Carter is. Now, I do know there's off the field concerns. I know when it comes to the driving incident, he's made some mistakes, right? And also his pro day was definitely rough because he came in out of shape. But we have seen this story before. There's been plenty of guys. You're young, you make a mistake, right? And all of a sudden now there's all this like hesitancy, right? Oh, you're a bad locker room guy. Certain things get blown out of proportion. He messed up, right? What he did was messed up. I don't want to justify what he did, right? But I definitely do think that teams exaggerated at times. And I think him coming to this Eagles environment is going to be great. And all we gave up was the 10th pick, which the Bears have now, and a 2024 4th-round pick. So that's nothing.
Whoa.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
Wow.
I think that's that is nothing. No, I'm upset that we can't see like our facial reactions on this live stream, but I'll fix it for next one. But man, isn't that great?
What?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm so happy. I am so happy.
If I could just piggyback off you said real quick, Josh, and just pick up where you left off at. It was a tragic incident with that car accident that involved Jalen Carter and the other kid that went to Alabama that played on the offensive side, even the offensive line. Tragic situation. You know, our condolences and prayers go out to the family. But understanding Jalen Carter was behind the wheel, I understand. But it wasn't like it was an intentional thing. It was an accident, a severe bad car accident where, you know, the tale of life and death ran its course with Jalen Carter living and the other kid passing away. But don't diminish this kid off of an accident. The kid made a mistake. The kid, I understand, was overdoing the speed limit. You know, he wasn't drunk or anything like that. He didn't pull what's the kid that played for Vegas? That wide receiver.
Suggs? No. That's a whole different situation. My fault.
We're talking about the guy that I think he played for Vegas. He went out drinking the one night, and he was doing 117, and he ran over that woman and killed that lady.
Oh, the Vegas wide receiver. Oh yeah, that was Suggs, right? Oh no, Henry Ruggs.
I
Ruggs.
mean,
That's what Ruggs. My
You
fault.
know,
Ruggs, Suggs.
Jalen Carter didn't have any alcohol in his system. He's still a 20-year-old kid. He's not fully developed in the brain yet. The whole 9 yards. I feel like you can't judge a kid, for an accident. And I'm not trying to show sympathy to the kid because what he did should have never been done. It should have never happened. But I mean, Josh, I was 17, 18 years old, probably driving faster than what he was at one point. I'm 17,
You
18 years old. My brother's giving me the key to his car so I can go to work. So I can go to school every day when I was in high school. And I'm doing 80 to 100 on the 95 so I can get to school on time. Like it's kid things, it's not mature, but it wasn't like it was intentional. It was an accident. And the whole pro day situation, I mean, the media was eating this kid alive. The media was eating this kid to pieces. So the whole pro day situation, man, and I'm pretty sure the kid was just going through some stuff, and mental illness is a real thing. So I'm not letting that define what I'm expecting Jalen Carter to be. Not gonna let it happen.
Yeah, and bro, I'm gonna say this as well, man. Like I completely agree. I know for myself, like I've been just to share everybody what I've been doing like currently over the past couple of years. So I'm actually a therapist. I'm a group counselor, and I
Okay.
work with a lot of kids, right? And some of the kids that I work with have made mistakes when they were like 14, 15 years old. And what happens is the second they make a mistake there, right? Once you have something that's on you, things get you get classified, you get labeled as this type of person. When with time, right, we can show and we can prove that we are not that type of person. And I think this is the situation, the same situation that's happening with Jalen Carter right now. Like that situation that he got himself into, just like you, bro. Like when I was that around that age, I was driving, I was speeding. Me and my friends used to race right out of high school. There was a 2-lane road and there was one light, and we would just take off going over like 100. So like, like it happens when you're young, you're dumb, right? You make mistakes, but we can learn from these mistakes, right? And these mistakes do not define us and do not define our careers. And I completely agree with what you said, bro. Like, I definitely think the media definitely did exaggerate it. I understand what happened. I'm not condoning what happened, but he owned up to it. He's on probation, right? He's going to work on himself for it. And we're going to take a chance on that. And that's what you do when you just come off of a Super Bowl and you have a top 10 pick. You take a chance on someone that has the highest upside. And if he has his stuff together, I have looked at his film. He is a legit stuffer in the middle. So now you're going to have Jordan Davis clog up everything, and this guy's just going to come freeing right up and ready to pass rush. Like if you're seeing the film now on ESPN now, he is picking guys up. He's literally doing stuff that I'm not going to compare him to this player yet because I think that's extreme. But like his film of him picking up guys and moving them so easy is like how Aaron Donald does it in the NFL. Like he's picking up guys, he's shoving them, moving them, and you don't see that often. And another thing too, he won a national title, and he was by far the anchor. Him and Jordan Davis together were the anchors of that defense, that Georgia defense. And I know Georgia is your favorite college squad, so I know your Georgia Bulldogs, bro. But yeah, he was the anchor of that team, so of that defense. So just saying.
Now, just picking up off of where you said, Jalen Carter was the 2020 unanimous college player of the year. So with that being said, you just gave a team that just made it to the Super Bowl, lost. I mean, yeah, we did lose, but we made it there. The best player in college football. Uh, we need. This is gonna get scary. This is gonna get scary. It's gonna get very scary. So I'm just excited, man. Jalen Carter. Excited to see what he does.
Me too, bro. I am super excited. I can't wait. So man, now and we needed this too, like you said, like this was a position of need. We needed to get an interior pass rusher. Like not to be mean with Fletcher Cox, not to be mean with some of those guys, but Fletcher Cox is getting old. We needed a player at this pick that is ready to be inserted right away, win now, and that's what we got. So now that I think we traded up to get Carter, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I think we trade down or trade back in I see us trading back with the 30th pick. It all yeah.
I can see it too, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little greedy. So with that being said, why not trade up?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, why not trade back up and go? I don't know, defensive edge rusher.
Well, yeah, we do need another one. We do need another one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be mad. I know a lot of people, like you said, like they wanted Bijan Robinson and stuff, but I would not be mad if our first 3 picks in this draft, bro, were defense, defense, defense. Because we lost a lot. We like Hargrave on the defensive side. Our offensive side, we are pretty much solid. I do think we do take a running back, but more like day 2, day 3 running back. Just because you don't know if what's his name is going to be fully healthy, the guy we got from Seattle, because like he hasn't even played a full 16 games in a year, so like like we could get another guy later in the draft, but I wouldn't be surprised. My point is, if we go defense, we get an edge rusher with the 30th pick, and then in the second round we get a corner or like a safety or something, I wouldn't be surprised if we just go all defense in the first couple rounds, just because there's a lot of holes that we need to, well, not a lot of holes, but there's some holes that we need to fill on that defensive side of the ball.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'll be honest. Looking at it, thinking about it, trying to be Howie Roseman. The one position you are in need of is safety. I mean, Buda Baker's available. I mean, why not try and, see what you can pull there, see what strings you can pull. I mean, Buda Baker would just easily step in and replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And then who knows? I mean, maybe Jahir Gibbs is there at 30 and you like him at 30.
I completely agree. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing with the draft. You have no idea, what's going to happen, right? Who's available. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. So this is for 30. I know it's not as serious as 10, but I know I've listened to a couple podcasts and they've mentioned, bro, that at 30, I know there's like a couple quarterbacks, like there might be a quarterback later in the first round. I forget his name. But I know, I believe the Titans and some other teams are interested in possibly trading with the Eagles to get to that 30 pick. Would you take that deal so that way they can select that quarterback and you trade back like a couple spots, but you're earlier in the second round?
Easily, yeah. Easily.
Okay, I got you. I was just wondering.
Yeah, easily. What I really, really wanted was I wanted Washington to, what's the best way to explain? I wanted Washington to set their eyes on Will Levis, who I believe was going to fall and obviously has fallen in the draft, to call Philly and be like, hey, look, and you just get Washington's first round pick for next year. Because you figure Washington is now under new ownership. you know, they're these new owners are going to look for their guy, and why not? Hey, look, you want the 10th pick? You want this quarterback? Okay, cool. Give me your first round pick for next year. No, and Washington isn't going to be good next year. Washington isn't going to be good next year. So with that, if that was the case, then, but that was just a fantasy thing that I was having in my head.
I got you. I get it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many, and I know you because I remember you texted me earlier today, and you were like, yeah, like if I'm Washington, I'm trying to trade. I'm trading because we're not gonna be good. I'm not gonna lie. The NFC East is turning into a very tough division.
No.
And
The text I sent you earlier was a rumor. It was a reported rumor that was going around.
oh yeah, about them wanting to trade like Chase Young and stuff.
Montez Sweat. Yeah, that was a reported rumor going around.
Oh snap! Yeah, so they're actually shopping. They're ready.
But the thing is, okay, what is it? If you're gonna trade a cornerstone, a cornerstone of your franchise like that, what are you looking to get in return?
I know, and that's the thing. We noticed too, bro. Like these trades, like you don't get that much.
Yeah,
Like you might get a couple picks and that's it. But like they're like fourth and fifth rounds.
It's not going to match the value of the return. It's just not.
Yep, I agree. I completely agree. Like, did you see what the Jets traded to get Rodgers? Like
I believe it was the pick swap, a second round pick that can turn into a first round pick.
Yep.
I'm not sure what else.
And then I think a second as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, man, like, because if the Jets were smart, they could have leveraged the Lamar situation to be like, look, we actually have a backup plan here, because Rodgers is, Rodgers is still Rodgers, but how many years you're going to get out of him? Like 1, 2? Like, is there anything in that trade where it's like he has to play 2 years?
I'm looking at it as a Peyton Manning situation. Peyton Manning went to Denver for 3 years, but only had 2 good years left in him.
Yeah,
that's how I'm looking at that situation.
I got you. And that's another thing too. We played the Jets this year too. Our schedule is brutal this year. We got the AFC East. We have the I'm trying to remember I know we play the Chiefs. That's probably going to be the opening night game. So I wouldn't be surprised, bro. You heard it first here. You remember what they did the one Super Bowl rematch with the Broncos?
Okay, hold on. Josh, I gotta cut you short. Hold on.
Yeah. Now you're good.
Okay, I just got another text. What is Detroit doing? What is Detroit doing? I'm not understanding.
Man.
You want to? Okay, I just got another text. Do you want to know who they picked?
Yeah, I want to know. You got to tell me. Christian Gonzalez, right?
No, Jahmyr Gibbs.
A running back?
He went running back.
Why?
So that just goes to tell me DeAndre Swift is. They're letting DeAndre Swift walk. They're gonna let him walk.
I'm not gonna lie, I can't stand DeAndre Swift. He was on my fantasy team this past year. I was down. I lost. I'll tell you a little funny story, but I had DeAndre Swift on my fantasy team, and he pissed me off. The one time I don't start him was championship week, and he snapped. I'm like, the one time they want to give you these carries. Anyway, though, so like you said, they're gonna let Swift walk then, right?
I can see, yeah. Yeah, I can see him walking. This will be year 4 or year 5. Year 4 for him, right?
The Eagles.
Yeah, I believe this will be year 4 for him. And I mean, with the addition of Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe sets in stone what it is for DeAndre Swift, and but the reason why I can kind of understand is because Swift does have a tendency of being injured a lot. So they probably don't see him as a workhorse. And secondly, I mean, Jamal Williams, him being there I guess is kind of set in stone, like where they value DeAndre Swift as a running back.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, due to his injury history, DeAndre Swift has not been reliable. He just hasn't. Like he's missed a lot of games when they need him to get touches. He has a lot of touches. He usually doesn't play the next game. Like I remember against the Eagles, he torched us and then he didn't play for a couple weeks after. So I understand why they go, but to pick Gibbs in this situation at 12, like do you think Gibbs could have lasted towards the end of the first round?
Easily, yeah, easily.
That's what I'm saying. For them to get him now is just they could like don't they need a corner? I thought they're gonna get Gonzalez. Like that's just
I don't know.
like what are they doing? What are they doing? The first round 12th pick. Yeah, I'm going running back. Yeah. Like what? Oh man, I don't know, man.
This is my you think Green Bay goes wide receiver?
That would I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna start cracking up laughing if they go wide receiver. All them years,
Rodgers.
The second Rodgers leaves, they go wide receiver. Oh man, just to be petty, bro.
And here's the thing: that they need another wide receiver. I mean,
Oh, I know.
But you need another receiver.
You're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. They need a wide receiver big time. But it's just the timing of it. Like Aaron Rodgers has been preaching for years that he needs a wide receiver. They didn't draft one receiver for him for the past like 3 drafts. And now that he's leaving, man.
Okay, wait. Let's rephrase that. They draft the receivers. And the Green Bay has had a long list of receivers to go well with Rodgers. I mean, let's look at the list. When he first got there, it was Greg Jennings. After Greg Jennings, they had somebody with Greg Jennings. Oh my goodness, he now works. I think he works on the NFL Network now. Okay, I'm drawing a blank on that wide receiver's name. It was Greg Jennings and another receiver. After they left, it was Jordy Nelson for a while. And then after it was Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb for a while. Then after them two, you had Devontae Adams. So technically, Rodgers has had a receiver, a wide receiver one at that. Because Jordy Nelson, if it wasn't for injuries, he was definitely top 2 and not 2. Devontae is arguably the best receiver in the game. And Greg Jennings and the other receiver, they were a nice dynamic. They were a nice duo when he had them. But did they not draft a running back a wide receiver in the first round? Yes, they did it. But let's not sit there in front and say Aaron Rodgers didn't have an offense and or a wide receiver one that was a top receiver in the league. Like that kills me. It kills me with people that are Aaron Rodgers fans, and I understand. Aaron Rodgers is a good regular season, player because when it comes to the playoffs, he chokes. But I can't disagree that Rodgers is a good regular season quarterback. He puts up numbers, stats are there. But if anybody ever wants to make a case that Green Bay did him dirty by not drafting a receiver in the first round, let's go to those drafts. Let's look at the draft Devontae Adams was drafted. Let's see who was drafted in the first round that they would have won. They're probably bad receivers. And or wide receiver 3s in the league. I don't know. We would have to look at it, but let's be honest though. Like Devontae Smith, A1. Jordy Nelson was A1. Randall Cobb was one of the better slot receivers in the game when he was in his prime. So let's not act like Rodgers didn't have anything. I don't like that.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Like I like Rodgers, but I'm not a big time believer, big time fan of Aaron Rodgers. Like you said, like he's had Devontae Adams He's had Jordy Nelson. He's had Greg Jennings. He's had like Alan Lazard. He's had. I mean, didn't he have Jimmy Graham for a couple years too? I know Jimmy Graham was past his prime, but like the Packers were giving him options.
He did have
And
Graham. I think he did it. Yeah, he had Graham for 2 years, I believe.
yes, he did. Because Graham went from New Orleans to then I believe Seattle and then the Packers. But either way, though, like Aaron Rodgers has had plenty of times and chances to prove himself. He's been the number one seed plenty of times. They have folded many times. And if I'm a Packers fan, like, yeah, he left, but like he did win us one Lombardi, but we could have had more. And I definitely think I think if I'm a Packers fan, like he was great, but he's not as good as some of the fanboys, like admire his skill. Like that's just something to really think about, people. But yeah, so I know Dante took a little bit of break here in the live stream. I know the Packers pick is in. Also, just to give you guys a heads up, we're going to start doing updates for the Celtics game too, game 6 as well. So I know a couple people here in the comments, just giving you guys a heads up. Shout out to a couple people tuning in. I know William, I know you mentioned you don't like Rodgers either, just because I know very annoying. He does seem like an annoying person to live with. I agree with that. I know all the stuff he said about like not being vaxxed and all that stuff too. Like, that's another thing too. So it's like Aaron Rodgers, like the type of like trying to remember, like what was he doing? Then he mentioned like he was taking like shrooms or something before a game. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what he was taking, Dante, but I forget what he said on like one of his like before the games, like after the season happened, like he talked about how like he would play some games on something because of the pain or something like that. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because William in the comments mentioned how he doesn't like Rodgers as a person just because he might seem like those type of people that are annoying to live with.
My boy Will, man.
Yeah. Also, Packers, they just drafted Luca Van Ness. That was
the guy that was tied to the Eagles at one point.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. If we would have taken him at 10, I would have been very disappointed. Like he's a good player. He seems like he's like the safe pick, Like he's solid, but
he was the Barnett that year we went to the draft together.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, bro. Like he's like the Barnett. Like he's a good pass rusher, but there's no like oomph to it. Like he'll make a couple nice plays here and there, but
Can we just revisit that time and that point in time? Because remember, leading up to the draft, it was me, you, and my cousin that went to the draft together, and we did our podcast, and I wanted Reuben Foster. I can't remember who you wanted, but I remember we did a podcast and we did our mock draft. I wanted Reuben Foster, and I can't remember who you wanted. And Derek Barnett was never on our radar. Never knew who he was. I mean, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for you. Never knew who he was. Like, okay, who's this guy? And I remember when they said Derek Barnett, we stormed out of there pissed. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, bro. I'm laughing as you're describing it. That's why I had to mute my microphone. Yeah, man, I'll never forget it. Like we stood there. It was a great experience. Like, don't get me wrong. Like we had a lot of great conversations with people. I never forget the 49ers fan. Remember when the Bears traded up, like the 49ers, like, y'all are stupid. They traded up for Trubisky.
That guy that was a Cowboys fan that we were debating that whole night with.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a great night. But when Barnett got picked, me, you, and your cousin were like, yeah, get us the heck out of here. We're like, we can't watch the rest of this round because it came out of nowhere. We both were not expecting it. And like, I mean, Reuben Foster didn't some end up happening to him outside of the
it worked anyway. It wasn't that worked anyway. Some legal trouble. It was bad. It was just
it was bad. No, it's all good. But that's the thing with the draft though. Like sometimes you're going to hit and sometimes you're not. Like that's that's why I understand what the Sixers did with the process, right? Building from the draft, but that's one of the risks you take when you draft these players. It's not like they're going to be, you don't know. You're taking a chance. Like they could be bust or they could be really solid players. And that's the trade-off with the draft. And like my
So the
point is, right?
crapshoot.
Yep, it's either you hit or it's a bust.
That's all it is.
And I will say, like, Howie's had some very rough draft classes, but I'm not gonna lie, the past couple have been really good. He's shifted. Instead of him drafting like the Big 12 and all that crap, he's been drafting SEC players. And look at the result. You got Smith, SEC player, balling. Jalen Hurts, SEC player, balling. Now then went to Oklahoma, balling.
Yeah.
You got Landon Dickerson from Alabama, balling. Like now you got Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. They're gonna really step up this year, and you got Jalen Carter too. Oh man, we got the Georgia Bulldogs defense, man, from a couple of years back that won the title. So, man, so like that's the thing though. When you draft a player, you never know. They can turn out to be exactly what you expect them to be, or more, or absolute bust. And that's one of the things I learned about the Sixers. Like the Sixers, we went all draft. Like we traded Drew Holiday to get a pick. Like we traded some, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? But like we were all in on the draft and look what we got out of it. We got Joel Embiid, which is our generational player. Ben Simmons should have been the second superstar, but mentally he was not there. And then Markelle Fultz, he's turned into a good player now, but he had to go over a big mental block, and we were in like a win now mood. So like that's the thing with the draft. And then Tyrese Maxey, for instance, right? Took a chance on him at 21. We got lucky because of the pandemic.
COVID year.
Yeah, the COVID year. But that's the thing with the draft. Like you never know. Like some live up to their potential, some don't. But that's the risk you take.
Looking at it, right? The Sixers didn't have a bad draft during that process time. It was just the moves they made after the draft. I mean, after they selected these players. I mean, let's just take a step back, right? Nerlens Noel. He's a great off the bench player. He gives you depth, a shot blocker, rim protector. These things. Not a superstar player, but he has a role, and he's really good at his role. Describing, what I just described his role was: shot blocker, rim protector, grab the boards. He's an athletic big. So, with all of that going on, okay, you could have worked with that. Jahlil Okafor, who was the concessions. I mean, going into that draft, that's who I personally wanted. And he dominated the college basketball level so much that he was just projected to go in the top 3 as a top 3 pick. But the thing that happened with Jahlil Okafor was his game just didn't fit today's game. And once the NBA adjusted to him and his game, he never found anything like anything else to work on. Like, Embiid is a Embiid can do it all. He can get in the paint. He can, excuse me. Embiid is good in the paint. He can face the basket. He can, put his back to the basket. Everything. Jahlil Okafor was never able to adjust his game to that. That's why I think he went wrong. And then we look at the picks afterwards. I mean, Ben Simmons. You drafted Markelle Fultz, who is now starting to find his game and his role in the NBA. You drafted this was still. You drafted Mikal Bridges and traded him. A lot of people forget that Mikal Bridges was a Sixer, but you trade him for Zaire Smith. Okay, no problem. So I don't think it was the players they drafted outside of Ben Simmons. I can't even say Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons was good for those 3-4 years. That 3-4 year period. I mean, two-time All Star, 2 or 3 time All Star, runner up for Defensive Player of the Year. You know, he gave you 14, 7, and 7 there or whatever it was. So it wasn't like he was bad. He just, I just don't think he loves the game. I don't think Ben Simmons is obsessed with the game. He's not in tune with it. He just wanted to live the glamorous lifestyle that came behind it, and that's what he's doing now. So, and then like you referred Tyrese Maxey. Look at Tyrese, and if let's be honest, we were lucky to get Tyrese because if there is a NCAA tournament that year, Tyrese Maxey's not falling past 4. He's not falling to us at 20. He's not coming to us at 20. We all know that. So that year we lucked out, and there being no NCAA tournament. And who else did we take? Look at Landry Shamet. I mean, Landry Shamet is. I mean, he's a bench fighter, but a productive NBA career. He's not bad. He's better than Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one. And I mean, that's just the point, right? Like the whole Sixer situation, there's been a lot of mistakes, and Mikal Bridges. Honestly, I think if we kept Mikal Bridges, I think right now we would be sitting there real nice because I think he would fill a lot of those holes that we have right now. But I mean, we got lucky with Maxey. Some picks we did not get lucky with. Some players did not translate to the game, like you said, especially with Jahlil Okafor and stuff. But, that's all part of it. And that's all part of like drafts in general, right? You just never know who's going to hit and who's not. And now, the Sixers, they might have their best shot. And then just giving you a score update because as you were describing, I
phone to look at it.
Yeah, so it's 78-76 Hawks right now. So they are in a dogfight.
This is a dogfight. But yeah, shout out to my boy Will, man. I appreciate you for coming on, brother. Just to give a background to that, me and Will met on social media, and Will is a Chiefs fan, a respectable Chiefs fan, I should say though. A respectable Chiefs fan. He knows his football, and I commented on a Chiefs social media account, and I got roasted. But there was only one person that took their time out to really think about what I was saying, and that was Will. And Will DM'd me, and ever since then, we just hit it off as far as sports goes.
That's good, and shout out to Will, man. He's been hitting up the comments and stuff, so that's been good. You'd be surprised, right? You go in a group chat, you start talking about sports, and you never know. That's Facebook group chats, Instagram, all of that stuff is great. It's great to network, right? It's great to connect and talk sports with. I will say this, like in terms of the Chiefs fans, I didn't really have a problem with them at all about the Super Bowl. Like they were really respectable.
Pat Mahomes is my favorite player in the league.
I know, like I'm not gonna lie, if there was a team that we would lose the Super Bowl with, obviously like that feeling sucks. But the Chiefs, I was kind of like I was mad that we lost. I was more mad at just the referee. Like you can't throw that flag in that situation. I was also mad at Jonathan Gannon too. The defense looked lost, and what made it even more frustrating is we had the personnel to shut the. I'm not saying you're gonna shut Mahomes down for a whole game, but we had the defense to at least hold them to under 30. Like you have 2 shutdown corners on the outside. It was the game plan. Like you like the Chiefs, they took advantage. They knew exactly what the Eagles were gonna do in the red zone. The Eagles, they love to switch off in the red zone. You catch us one time, cool. You got us that one time. But there was no adjustment after that. This next time they got into the red zone, the exact same play flipped on the other side. That's the stuff I was mad at. I wasn't mad at the Chiefs. I wasn't mad at their fans at all. Now, I was mad at Juju Smith. I felt like that was definitely cold on that one. He runs his mouth too damn much. But other than that, I mean, I respected the Chiefs overall and like their fans, and
Took time.
Like, yeah, like I know I was gonna say, like, I mean, Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey have a great podcast together. Like, I listen to that all the time. Like, I respect the Chiefs. Like, I was just more mad at Jonathan Gannon, and now I really can't stand him because I don't know if you heard his press conference. He talked about how Eagles fans.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was like, yeah, we have the number one defense, dude. Whenever we played an elite quarterback, they would.
I say this one thing to address Jonathan, and Jonathan Gannon may never see this, but I'm still gonna put it out there. Okay, dickhead. We were never 9-0. We were 8-0. So before you decide to criticize us, get the facts straight. That's the first thing I gotta say. Secondly, Arizona did us a favor by taking you, right? I can't wait till you fall flat on your face. I can't wait.
I know, bro. I honestly, if you want to place a bet over under, I think he only lasts 2 years. And 2 years may be a stretch depending on how that year goes. I just don't see him fitting well. Arizona has so many holes, and he is an overrated coach. Let's be honest. The only reason why our defense was so good last year was because we had the personnel. That was we should have won the champ. We were by far the most talented team in that year. If it would have been us and the Bengals, I think the game would have been more like you saw what happened in that first half. It was just total.
Yeah.
Other than Hurts's fumble, it was domination. Our offense could get whatever they wanted. The Chiefs defense had no answer. Just came down to, man, Jonathan Gannon and his scheming. And that's what it came down to. And I get it. And I get it. He's a young coach, but the fact that he got this opportunity so soon, and I'm happy he's out of Philadelphia. His defense was like, you needed to show up in the big games, and it never did. But yeah, man, that's where all my anger goes. I completely agree with you. And he didn't even get his facts right either. Talking about 9-0, talking about they were still mad. Yeah, we were still mad because our schedule was easy last year. Like, not to be mean, like we took advantage of a really good schedule. Our schedule was nice.
Yeah.
Like,
it's gonna be tougher this year as well. So
yeah, it is.
This year.
And that's why you get a Jalen Carter. That's why you get it, because we need an interior pass rusher that's going to wreak havoc on these quarterbacks. So, well,
and, as far as the Chiefs go, man, that's a great organization. I mean,
oh yeah, I can agree
from top to bottom. I mean, there's nothing bad you can say about that guy. And one thing I want to point out, Chiefs fans for some reason think Beach, whatever his Brett Beach is like this god of a GM. Beach doesn't draft the players. Andy Reid is the one who handpicks the players he wants. It's an Andy Reid. He did it here in Philly. He did it here. Like, there's no coincidence to that. The moment Andy Reid steps foot in Kansas City just magically just gets all of these phenomenal players. They draft well, the whole shebang. So it's not Beach. Beach is handling free agents and contracts. As far as players and personnel goes, that's all Andy. It's Andy and the scouting department. That's what I want to say.
Now you're right, spot on. Andy Reid is a genius. Like I have mad respect for him, and I mean the only thing we can knock on him is he cost us 2 Super Bowl. Well, not him, but we lost the Super Bowl with him, and then he beat us for us to win another one. But I mean, other than that, though, Andy Reid is awesome, an awesome coach, and he's a culture setter. That's what he is. He comes in, he tells you, look, we got to build by the trenches. The Chiefs lost in that Super Bowl, and they refixed their whole offensive line literally that offseason. Like that's what Andy Reid does. He's a genius. He's just on another level. And I will say, like, him and Patrick Mahomes together is a killer duo, and they're going to be great for years. It's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a rematch this year because for us, I'm not gonna lie, the NFC is pretty much wide open. This is right now how the NFC is set up, bro. Is they need someone to take the ranks. Like someone needs to step up and like we could dominate for the next couple of years. We could be seeing them, you know. So
I'm
we'll see.
so as far as that, I mean, I don't know. I low key can't wait for Andy Reid to call it quits and retire, just so Kansas City Chiefs fan can see. Oh damn, yeah, no, Dante knows what he's talking. He's right. It was Andy doing the drafting. I cannot wait. I can't, and that's not the only reason why. Because as far as Andy Reid is there with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, obviously already proven they're the ones standing in our way of getting the Super Bowl. But
I know, and just to add to your point, Andy Reid's in charge of the drafting, right? Guess how many rookies they had on their defense in that Super Bowl?
The whole secondary.
Yeah, 5 players.
Nick Bolton.
5.
Nick Bolton, who single-handedly had double-digit tackles, and
I know
single-handedly changed the momentum of the game with that sack strip with the return touchdown, is a second-year player.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but at the time, he was a second-year player.
And that's the thing too. Like, once you get these quarterbacks right, and they're out of their rookie deals, you have to hit on draft picks. And for the Chiefs to get 5 rookies starting in the Super Bowl, they're only going to get better as the more experience they get. And that's why, like I said to you, like this pick at number 10 for the Eagles, you have to get a game wrecker, a game changer. Because now that we paid Hurts, right? Like we're going to have to start finding these nice players like the Chiefs did last year. Step one, right? Step one is you build around a quarterback with a rookie contract. That's the easy part because the quarterback is not that much money yet. Now it becomes harder once you pay the quarterback. And the Chiefs did a great job. That's why they are Super Bowl champions. Bolton was a monster, game wrecker. And right now he has a very cheap contract.
So right? If I could just give an update real quick on what's going on to those who may be joining or have just joined or still with us. Christian Gonzalez is still out there. Will Levis is yet to be taken. He's still out there. I just got a text message. Washington is going with the kid Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State. So I don't know what's going on, but Christian Gonzalez is slipping down the draft. I don't know what's going on.
I know.
New England is currently, well, obviously we'll be on the board. We'll be on the clock next. They could be a candidate. I mean, I don't know. Detroit, at 18, they may take Gonzalez and, see what they can do there. But that's just to give an update.
I know, and that's what happens, Dante. Good update, because I was about to think like, yeah, we should probably give an update soon. Like that's what happens when 2 running backs go in like the top 12 picks. You have other guys that add more value and can contribute more falling in the draft. Gonzalez is a great corner. I mean, he's raw in the sense of like his ball skills. I looked at some of the film with him. Like he's always in the right position, but it seems like he can never just like get that interception, right? So other than that, though, in terms of his size and the way how he moves, like Christian Gonzalez is at this point of the draft is a steal. So I know a lot of New England fans. They're tired of them drafting like a corner, or they're tired of them because I think that's been like New England's track record. Is just like they either trade back and they pick a corner in the second round, but that's been like their track record. But we'll see who they take next. But
I don't know. New England the past few drafts for a while now. New England just has had terrible drafts.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough out there.
I don't care though. I have no sympathy for New England. They won 6. They have 6 Super Bowls. Like they were dominant for 20 years. You know it's going to have to balance itself out eventually, right?
Now, what I will say. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You're good, bro. I know we've been almost live streaming for 2 hours.
I'm a big believer in sports purgatory. So I mean, Tom Brady maybe, or Bill Belichick, or what's the owner's name? What's the owner's name for New England?
Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft. One of them must have sold their soul to the devil, and now they're in sports purgatory because that's the route it's looking.
You're not wrong on that one. And I mean, they've been dominant for so long. That's why, like, I don't really have sympathy for Patriots fans. Oh, this is ridiculous. Mac Jones was not what we wanted him to be. You guys literally had Tom freaking Brady for 20 years. Like, I don't want to hear any complaining about Mac Jones not being as good. You just had Tom Brady for 20 years. Any quarterback you bring in is not going to be on his level. Okay. So, like, come on. You have the most Lombardis out of all the teams. You had a great run for 20 years. There probably will never be a team that does that again.
But New England fans need to understand this is that the reason Brady left, you still haven't adjusted to it. You still haven't fixed the problem. I mean, who the hell does Mac Jones have to give the ball to? Who does he have? So it's like until you get the kid some help, you don't really know what he is or who he is. It's gonna be a question mark. The kid doesn't. Who does he have? What's the running back's name? Ramondre Stevenson. Like, who else do you have outside of him? I mean, the 2 tight ends that you signed, Hunter Henry sucks. Jonnu Smith sucks. Didn't they go and get Nelson Aguilar for a year?
Yes.
Sucks. Juju Smith-Schuster sucks. So it's like you're not surrounding this kid with any talent. And then not only on top of that, but on top of that, you literally gave the play calling job to a guy who doesn't know a damn thing about running an offense. And Matt Patricia. So it's like, what are you doing for this kid besides making his life miserable? So
you're not wrong on that one.
All right, who did New England take?
Yep.
Wow. It's pretty good.
I know. That's a good pick.
Okay, I like it.
He's the type of person that Bill Belichick will mold into a stud. Pretty much. That's one thing Bill Belichick, in terms of defensive players, he's pretty good at developing. But I mean, like you said, right? Like with the whole Patriot stuff, like of Mac Jones, you got to put your quarterback in a position to succeed. And that the Eagles, right? What the Eagles did for Jalen Hurts, right? Like, yeah, we had Smith for that 1 year. Now we're going to help you take that next step. We're going to get you an A.J. Brown. Josh Allen with the Bills, even though they haven't had the success that they both want right now. All right, Josh Allen, now we're going to give you a chance. We're going to get you a Stephon Diggs. Like, even with Patrick Mahomes, his first couple years into the league, Tyreek Hill had a bunch of studs. They have Travis Kelce, like Peyton Manning. Like, you can go to all the elite quarterbacks. They need that one stud. Like, Tom Brady had Gronk during his Super Bowl runs. Had Randy Moss for a couple years, right? Like, Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, right? Yep. So, like, if you look at all of these, like Joe Burrow right now has probably the best receiving core in the league.
Or it's nasty.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to give your quarterbacks a chance to prove themselves. And if you're not going to give them the chance to prove themselves by giving them some weapons, then they're just going to fail. Like, they're like, it's a given. But too much Patriots talk. They win too much. So they win too much.
Now, here's one thing to keep everybody updated on. A wide receiver has yet to be taken so far.
You're right. That is very interesting.
I
Man.
wonder if Detroit takes a wide receiver here. I wonder if they take. I could see Detroit taking a wide receiver here, just for the simple fact is Jameson Williams just got suspended. They traded away. What was their tight end's name? They traded him to.
Oh, Hawkinson to the Vikings
Yep, they traded
in the
Hawkinson.
season.
They drafted a running back, obviously, so they may be looking to give Jared Goff some help, and I could see this being a wide receiver pick. I can see that.
Hey, you're not wrong on that one. I know when it comes to the wide receiver class, like I know there was not a lot of like, I mean, there's still big names, but like compared to like the past couple of drafts, we've been spoiled with like the
Yeah.
names that have come out of it. But this class could remind me of AJ Brown's class of
Yeah.
wide receivers, where there
Yeah.
wasn't like a big splash like first round like top guys, but there was a lot of guys taken in the second and third round that turned out to be real difference makers, like AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. Like that one year, I think it was like 2019. If you look up the class of 2019, you'll see Dante, like in terms of first rounds, there wasn't a lot of like first round wide receivers. But when you got to the second, third rounds, you got a lot of studs all over the place. So maybe that's what this wide receiver class could be. You never know. So, and that's another position too the Eagles might take later in the draft, because I know outside of like that, like we need like more bodies for wide receiver, because I think outside of AJ Brown, Smith, and um Watkins, I don't see anyone else. So like we can draft like another one to fill in like that 4 spot. So
Yeah, I agree. But just speaking about that, I mean, Detroit does have Amon-Ra St. Brown, so you don't have much after him. So I'd like to see Detroit take a wide receiver here, just to boost up that offense, and Jared Goff can use all the help he can get.
I got you. But yeah, so I know in terms of like these next couple picks, like I mean, I know Dante has to take just a couple little minutes and stuff. For these next couple of minutes, I mean, I was thinking we can mix up some draft and also check in on the Celtics Hawks game too. Right now it's 98-96 Boston with 56 seconds left into the third quarter. So I might switch and put on that game as we get closer to the draft, as the draft gets closer and closer to the end. But I just want to first say, for my people listening on YouTube, we'll figure out this live stream issue for our future podcast and stuff. This is our first ever live stream together. It's been a while, so I appreciate you guys, just tuning in. I know it's been almost 2 hours, so hopefully you guys enjoyed some of our content, some of our discussions we talked about. And this is what it's going to be. We're going to be live streaming some Sixers games coming up too. So I got to make sure I get this live stream all situated and together before then. And I know I will. But this is the start of Swoop Podcast. We're going to get our new logo situated. So there's a lot of good store here for me and Dante. We're going to be live streaming games. We're going to be recording podcasts separately, reacting to the game. So for all my sports fans, Philly sports fans, we do talk about some outside sports stuff, but we'll get into more Philly stuff as the playoffs and as other stuff goes around. And so for our first live stream, we got to figure out the video stuff, which I'll figure out, and we'll be good. So, oh man, but I know I was gonna say, Dante, do you plan to stay all the way until 30?
I want to.
I know.
I
do
like,
too.
I just feel like we're gonna get to 30 and then we're like ding ding ding. Can you hit the thing real quick? The pick is in. With the 30th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles have traded. So like, I don't want to wait all the way to 30 just to hear the pick was traded.
Yep. Oh
so,
man.
So it's
you're
like
not wrong on that one.
If you I got like I got work tomorrow morning at 7. So if you wanna No,
Same here, bro. Same here. I got work 7
yeah,
o'clock tomorrow morning.
just save me an hour or two of sleep on top and just make the pick, make the trade now if you were gonna do that. But
Also, if you want to, we can watch the rest of this Celtics game too, as because I know these picks are coming up, like we got Jalen Carter, so I'm like super amped up for that, and I'm kind of like, all right, for the rest of these picks, like I'll keep an eye on it. But right now, Boston and Atlanta are going into the fourth quarter. Atlanta is up 100-98, so
yeah,
this is going to be a dogfight to the
sure.
end. Does Trey Young have another Game 5 moment where he hits another dagger?
Shoot, I mean, he got 28 points going into the fourth quarter. So Trey's definitely hooping today.
Trey Young is so interesting because, like, when you look at him, like, obviously he gets a lot of, and some of it's warranted, right? Like the Hawks were 41-41, like, but the thing with Trey Young is like he's never scared of the moment.
Yeah,
Now, whether he's going to make the shot or not make the shot, usually statistically you can tell like he usually misses more than he makes. But that's one of the things that makes him such an interesting player is he's someone that is not afraid to take the shot and he'll take it. And in game 5, he hit like a 35 footer. But I was like, dang. But Detroit goes linebacker Jack Campbell. So
yeah. Did you just see these Lions fans? I'm pretty sure they don't even know who this guy is.
yeah, they have no idea. They have no idea who Jack Campbell is. They have no
I don't
idea.
even know who Jack Campbell is.
Oh, he won the nation's best linebacker, the Buck Kiss Award. Okay.
You know, that did he do? But I still don't know who this damn jabroni is. Yeah,
Man, oh man. It's like,
like okay.
So if the draft gets too boring, we could put on Celtics Hawks.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm emotionally invested in this draft. I can't do it.
True. You're right. I mean,
if you wanted to do it, by all means, brother. Don't let me stop you. But
no. I just wanted to see if I have my ESPN tab up. So if it stays like this with like 2 minutes left, like the last 2 minutes, I'll just switch and put on my Xfinity and put it on just to see. Because if they actually go to a game 7, I mean, this is just great for us. More legs, more wear and tear for Brown and Tatum. It's like little battles. But I'm actually more optimistic compared to a lot of local podcasts and stuff about the Sixers. I actually think we have a really good chance. Boston's going to be tough though, and they've had our number in the regular season. But
now, Josh,
I
have a bit of breaking news here.
All right, what's going on?
It's nothing draft. It is draft related, but it isn't per se pick related. That's going on at the moment. I have a guest that's going to join us, and if anybody here is a fan of 97.5 The Fanatic and or has tuned in anything, I'm pretty sure you guys heard of him. Connor Thomas from 97.5, formerly on the John Kincaid show in the morning show and has filled in for Tyrone Johnson at times or been with him. I did it. I know I didn't tell you because I kind of wanted it to be a surprise. But he just texted me asking me if we're still on. I had talked to him earlier in the week about him coming on for a couple minutes just to give us some analysis on what he thought and some of his connections and the people that he's talked to, just to give us an idea of how he feels about the pick and everything, which I'm pretty sure he'll be ecstatic about. I know he was definitely high on Jalen Carter, and et cetera, et cetera. So, moment, I'm not gonna say now, but soon he will be joining us on our show soon.
Oh man. Well, I will say I wish that our live stream was better now. Dang.
It's all right. It's all right. Hopefully this one turns out well. And
I mean, if not though, If not, we can always schedule him for a future one. It's just
Oh yeah, of course.
it's just tonight. I think we just had a connection thing tonight, and we're just rolling with whatever we got now. I mean, as long as people can hear us, I'm cool. Like we'll work out the kinks right as we go, but that'll be cool. I know I would love to hear his insight on like the draft and stuff. Like Jalen Carter, I'm not gonna lie, that's the best player in the draft. That's who we got. So
Arguably, yeah. Arguably.
man.
I mean, oh, this is the kid that the Eagles were interested in.
Yep. Oh, and oh, so I'm on Twitter, right? Micah Parsons is on a live show, and he nearly walked off the set when we picked Jalen Carter. Oh man, yeah, it's on Twitter. I'll send it to you. He literally was about to walk off the set when he found out that we took Jalen Carter. So here, I'm gonna send it to you, so that way you got it. It's so funny. I know you're trying to figure out.
Yeah, no. I was just posting it on Facebook about us getting ready to get Connor on. He's just texted me saying he's hold on, let me check. Saying he's getting ready to load himself up in a minute.
Oh yeah, he's on there now. Here, let me.
Oh, he's here. You see him?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What's going on? Yeah, Connor Thomas is on.
Yeah, what's up, boys? How we doing?
How you doing?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, thanks. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Had a basketball game finishing up.
Nah, you're all good, brother. So for those that are live streaming with us and or have just jumped on, Connor Thomas from 97.5 The Fanatic, formerly on the John Kincaid Show in the morning, has joined us live.
I know, Chef.
Welcome. We
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course, I know. I'm just giving you a heads up, Connor. This is our first live stream where me and Dante were reunited. We're trying to do our like live draft podcasts and stuff. So when it comes to like the video and stuff, we're working out the kinks. So just giving you a heads up. So
no problem. As long as I can hear you, we're good.
All right, cool. So Jalen Carter at 9.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
Feeling great. I'm gonna be honest. So they asked me around the studio today, who do I want the Eagles to take at 10? And I said Bijan Robinson. And my reasoning was I don't think Will Anderson or Jalen Carter are going to get to a place where the Eagles can get him. So I would have taken, obviously, Will Anderson was my number one favorite player in this draft. He's gone way too soon. Jalen Carter was my second as far as fit for the Eagles, talent, opportunity for the ceiling to be realized. And the fact that he somehow was there at 9 is ridiculous. They got incredibly lucky. And Howie Roseman, what he gave to trade up to 9, I mean, you moved up one spot, which isn't a huge jump, but to only give up a 4th-round pick for that, the Bears are crazy. And the Eagles had a great start to their draft night. It's a great pick.
I completely agree. Me and Dante, we were watching this live, and we are like, the key team was Seattle, right? Because like I know Seattle had ties with Jalen Carter, and the second they went Witherspoon, me and Dante were immediately like, wow, Jalen Carter's actually on the table here.
That was the spot.
That was, and the fact that they only had to trade up one spot and only give up a 4th.
Yep.
That you can't beat that. You just can't.
Right.
Now my next question: who do you think they trade back now at 30 because they traded up, they lost a pick, or anything on your radar for the 30th pick?
Man, they have so many options because I assumed if they were going to trade up to get somebody, I figured they would have to get like maybe 6 or 7, get to 6 or 7 to make that pick for Jalen Carter because they weren't going to trade up for Bijan Robinson. I'm not even sure they would have taken him at 10 if he had gotten there and Carter had not been available because that feels like a high pick for a running back. But so I assumed they'd have to give up more. I didn't know if 30 would still be in play. That might have had to been an option to use to move up. So the fact that they have that, and all they gave up was a 4th-round pick to go ahead and move up to that spot. Anything's on the table. They could move up again. Like any picks currently going on right now, I think they're at what, pick 20 now or 21. Any of these picks are on the table to move up to. They could trade back. They could be looking at Smith out of Georgia and go ahead and get another guy, 2 guys from Georgia again, just become Georgia of the Northeast. But a lot of options on the table, and I think they're still looking at defensive options.
Man, I love it. I love it.
So, Connor, just to give you an idea, I may not have a guy who's plugged in at the draft right now. May or may not. I don't know. I refuse to reveal my sources or any of my secrets. It won't be put out there. But I may or may not have a guy out there.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, do we trade with Atlanta to jump Chicago? Because I'm not thinking Chicago. I understand Chicago may want to, protect Justin Fields, but I'm thinking, okay, but the best player in the draft will still be available at that point in time.
Yeah.
Are you kind of shocked in a sense that Chicago was willing to trade back a spot and not select the best player in the draft, arguably the best player in the draft?
Not only am I surprised that Chicago traded back there, I'm surprised that no one jumped up to 7 or 8 to go ahead and jump the Eagles to go get him. Because I know teams had to have known the Eagles were in on Carter. Like, he's been talking the whole time, and report came out from his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, saying, hey, we're not visiting any teams outside the top 10. And the Eagles had the 10th pick. That means that they knew that if he fell to the Eagles, he was getting picked by the Eagles. And other teams knew that as well. So I'm surprised no one else jumped up. I'm surprised Chicago didn't stay. It seems remarkably easy, these moves that Howie Roseman keeps pulling off that seem like home runs and turn out to be home runs, but the league keeps letting him do it. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he has some secret magic working, but yeah, I would have stayed there and picked Jalen Carter if I was Chicago, but thank goodness they didn't.
Right. Okay. So what are you, if you're Howie Roseman, right? What are you feeling at 30? Are you willing to trade back, stay put? Because there's a lot of great talent still left on the board here. I mean, I was going with Josh. Nolan Smith is still available. At the time, Christian Gonzalez was still available. He went right after we brought him up. And not a single receiver has been taken yet in this draft. And there was a little bit of noise with the kid from Ohio State and Philly, possibly having a thing going on there.
Yeah. So here's who I still like that's on the board. Nolan Smith, awesome option. I think that'd be more likely pick for the Eagles. Like, it makes more sense. He has a better fit. But seeing Jackson Smith and Jigba still sitting there and knowing that he was a potential option to go in the high teens, like 11, 12, 13, something like that. Green Bay at 13 was a spot that a lot of people thought he could end up going. It's tempting to see. And Will Levis is still on the board, which means teams that need a quarterback could still be looking at him. So that's another pick that's going to go probably before they take luxury picks like Jackson Smith and Jigba, like Nolan Smith. The tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, you're looking at Michael Mayer still on the board there. So a lot of options for the Eagles to move up, and there's some intriguing names. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Smith and Jigba got to I don't know, call it, because they're at what? They're at 20 right now. If they got him to 25, it wouldn't take a lot to go from 30 to 25. That would be a very interesting move up for the Eagles. And if they could do that for a third-round pick, I could see them making this offense super powered, especially since they've already addressed the D.
Sorry. Okay. The Seahawks have taken Jackson Smith.
Man, see?
Yeah, the Jigba.
Just got through a great point.
Yep. Literally, yep. I just got the text from one of my, you know what, I'm paying too much information out there. The Seahawks have taken a wide receiver. Yep.
All good. Well, then you know that Will Levis is still going to go before the Eagles get their pick off at 30. So now my favorite player on the board left is Nolan Smith out of Georgia. See if they can go ahead and get him.
I like it.
Me too, man. I can't deny it. Get the whole Georgia Bulldog defense, man.
Hey, it worked for them. It'll work for us.
Man.
Now,
you guys go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. You guys say that again, Connor? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you guys have anyone you still like on the board? Who are you guys looking at? Who's the ideal guy for the Eagles the rest of the way if you guys had to pick at 30?
I'm not falling far off of you. I mean, I'm looking at it as we may need a rotational defensive edge, and I like Nolan Smith. I mean, he's dropped this far. then again, I can't go wrong with wanting to go with another receiver for Jalen Hurts, just for the simple fact is that we've seen the most we can get out of Quez Watkins, and slot receiver. I would like a better wide receiver 3 at that position, just to give Jalen Hurts another weapon and another tool to play with.
Yeah, listen, Zay Flowers a great option. Not a big size guy, but he's a guy that can play inside, gets off the line really well. He's a guy that runs crisp routes. That just screams slot wide receiver to me. So I don't know if he's there. I don't know if they're willing to go ahead and get him. I mean, he went to Boston College, so you're not really seeing the top level competition. So it feels like it could be another Rager type situation. I don't know too much about Zay Flowers, but the profile fits the slot receiver. So maybe that's an option too. He's still on the board.
Now here's another thing though. I can see a bit of a run on wide receivers at the moment. We've just seen Jackson Smith and Jigba get selected. And then the Chargers need a receiver. Baltimore needs a receiver. Buffalo may need another receiver. Jacksonville, I mean, their wide receiver depth isn't all that great. So I can see and Minnesota's going to need another receiver to go opposite of oh my gosh, Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, yeah.
So I don't know. Like I can see a bit of a wide receiver run go here, which may leave it open for Nolan Smith to fall to us at 30. If that's
you want to know my most intriguing player left on the board, though. I don't think the Eagles will do this, but this is me personally, and because I feel like Nolan Smith won't get to 30, like that'd be a stretch for him to drop that far. A guy who might be there at 30, Joey Porter Jr. still on the board. Penn State, huge size. Yeah, he's a guy that I've talked to some people who would have liked him in the early teens, just like we were talking about with Jackson Smith and Jig, but such projected size. And you got two older corners in James Bradbury and Darius Slay. You got a slot corner you like in Maddox, who's young, but he can only play in the slot. He's a guy that would be a nice piece to add to that defensive secondary as the heir apparent to Slay or Bradbury. So that's another guy to keep your eye on if he drops a little bit.
I do like that. I forgot all about Joey Porter Jr. And you know what's funny? I don't know if you could recall, but I remember calling in to John and in the Cubs about Joey Porter Jr. and my interest in him.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to like him, man. The biggest thing is the size. Like the dude's 6'3". You don't see corners that move like him, that play like that. Now, he could also be a guy that turns into a safety at the next level. He could be a guy that's an outside corner, a little bit of versatility there because of that size. So who knows what they end up doing with him if they were to draft him. But you know how the Eagles like to shore up the secondary. And even though they signed Slay and Bradbury, those guys aren't hanging around forever. And they don't have a lot of backup options there. So that's a guy to keep your eye on if he falls too.
I like it.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I agree with your point. Just to add to your point, I forget what statistic it was. There was something like in terms of like corners that started like pretty much every snap past 32. I think there was only like a list of like 4 around there. So it's like getting a corner in this spot too at 30 could actually really help. And like you said, the versatility, being able to switch up. And that's something that we need in our defense because you already have Bradbury and Slay on the outside. You kind of for like depth pieces, right? You got to have those people that can play outside, play in the middle, play safety, play in the slot, right? So, just adding that versatility could really help too. So spot on points. I'm in agreement with both of you guys with who I would take at 30. There's a lot of options. I wouldn't even be mad if they traded back into the second round, either got a couple seconds, so that way they can take advantage of that there. So
I'd be a little bit mad because I got to be up early tomorrow morning. But other than that, I agree with you. That would be fine with me. Get some more picks for day 2 where you can find some depth pieces and rebuild this roster's youth a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a greedy man. I'm a greedy guy. I want to know what's going on with Budda Baker. I want to know what's going on with Derrick Henry. I want to know what's going on with Austin Eckler. I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah. So what I've heard is that Eckler is probably more likely than Derrick Henry, a more likely option there. So something to keep an eye on. But I don't know. You know what I think it is? I think everyone saw the A.J. Brown draft day trade last year. and they're like, okay, what's Howie going to do? What's the big trade he's going to do on draft day? That doesn't happen often. Like every once in a while, you'll see players move, but most often it's just picks. And rarely is it players the caliber of A.J. Brown at that age. It's that good. And I know Derrick Henry's a little bit older than that. No, Eckler's a little bit older than A.J. Brown was when he was traded. But those could still happen. I'd be surprised if they happen tonight or over the course of the draft.
So yeah, I'm in agreement there. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know this by hand. Con, Derrick Henry's my guy.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry's my guy. Me and John actually got into it earlier in the week about it. But,
right.
So, Josh, do you have anything for Connor? Because I don't want to hold Connor up too much. I know he's got to be up early producing the show, and if he's going to be, if the Eagles do decide to trade the pick 30 when it's time to make that pick, we're all going to be annoyed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just only had like one more question, just more from like you, because I know you're in like the production side of things. Like, tell me a little bit of like that process for you, like staying up those late nights, right? Making sure the show's prepped. Like, what are some things that like you do, to help prep the show in the morning and stuff?
Yeah, it's not easy, man. I get in there, so run through some audio stuff. So I'm always constantly on socials and looking up different videos with sound cuts that we might be able to get, cutting highlights from what happened the night before. Staying up to watch the games because I do cover the Phillies and do everything there through Locked On Phillies as well. So luckily they had the 1 o'clock game today, so I was able to get a nap in. But man, yeah, it's a grind to get everything ready and then handling everything behind the scenes, popping on air every once in a while. A lot of stuff needs to be done to produce a morning show like that. But the only real tough part about it is making sure I get out of bed. Once I'm out of bed and rolling at like 4:15 a.m., by the time I hit the station, I'm pretty wide awake and I can get all my work done. So not too bad, and you kind of get used to it. But there's a lot that goes into the audio production and getting like all the reads and scripts and everything that the guys read on air. Anything you hear them read through is stuff that I put together ahead of the show for them. So that's a lot of making sure that all the loose ends are tied up. But what's nice about my job most times is that my hard work is done before the guys even hit the air. So from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm just kind of hanging out, working on little things. So that's the nice part about producing. And then I get a chance to pop in every once in a while because I'm free.
Well, I will say keep up the great work as well, because I know you guys got a lot of great content there on 97.5 The Fanatic. I will say I'm a big fan too. I don't call as much as my friend Dante does, but you guys got a lot of great topics and stuff.
Thanks, man. You're welcome to call anytime, but I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Of course. Dante, you got anything?
No, you may need to be a little selective on when you do call, because John doesn't allow you to call more than once a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's my pet peeve about the show. My one pet peeve about the show. But
yeah, man, that's the boss's call. His name's on the show. He gets to make that call.
But all in all, though, brother, Khan, I appreciate you for coming on, buddy. It was great having you. And if future reference, if you ever want to come on, or whatever the case is, you're always welcome back.
Yeah, man, just let me know. I'm a busy guy, but I'll make some time. I appreciate you guys having me. This was fun. Hopefully the rest of the draft night goes well and we're not just staying up for nothing here and they trade back. But either way, great night for the Eagles. Great trade. Great to be on here with you guys. It's all in all a win. So appreciate you having me.
Now, before you go, quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Is there a Game 7?
Game 7 for Boston and Atlanta?
Yeah,
they're tied right now. They're tied. 113.
Are they? Oh, I didn't even look.
Yeah.
Really? How much time we have left?
We got 4 minutes left.
I think there is a Game 7. I think it's tough in that situation to close out a team on the road. And tell you what, we know here in Philly, I hate to bring it up, but that Hawks team and Trae Young in Game 7, who knows what's happening. So I do think there's a Game 7, and maybe the Sixers are going to get a chance to play Atlanta again. We'll see.
I was telling Josh this earlier when we were speaking about this game here. What if it's our revenge tour? When we lost to Atlanta 2 years ago, and then we lost to Miami last year.
I'd be cool with that, because that's a very easy path to the finals. I would have no issue with that.
Last 2 years, brother, we can't go down this road again.
No, they're going to be fine. They're going to take care of business this year.
Oh, shoot. Well, Connor, everybody listening, tuned in, et cetera, et cetera. Connor Thomas here from 97.5 The Fanatic had joined in with us and gave us some great insights, some great content. So, Connor, again, thank you for coming on with us, brother.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'll talk to you again soon.
Yep.
Appreciate
Stay safe. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. See you.
Man, Connor Thomas, man. Wow, you got to give me a heads up beforehand, bro. I was a little nervous in the beginning. I was like, oh snap. And I was like, of course, the one time the live stream, man, I got to get this video set up.
Man,
Man, oh man.
On. I appreciate him for coming on. I
Of
owe him
course.
one. I owe him one.
Yeah. I know. I was gonna say, like, I just loved like the insight, just like immediately, like, no, even like from the production as well, like being able to pull up all the snippets, going on social media, right, trying to figure out everything. Like, you can just tell, like, it's just you can tell, like, yeah, like he's just doing all like the production stuff. It's great. So we get a little insight, into like what it is. That's incredible. Wow, what a night. What a night. I am so happy. Yeah, I know. That's all I'm saying. I just have to get this video stuff situated and we'll get a good flow going. So now 2 minutes left in the game. Boston is up 3. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah, I seen it. The great one-time 76er Al Horford hit a 3.
Yep, and then Tatum just hit a step back. So now they're up 6.
Oh, shoot. I don't like that.
Well, Tatum just got a putback. So Tatum has taken over in the last 2 minutes. So now Boston is up. Boston is up 8 now. And Robert Williams just packed. So Trae Young has had 2 of his layups blocked back to back. So it's not looking. But who knows, though, with the Hawks, they'll be down 8 1 second and then hit like 3 threes in a row and win the game. So who knows with Boston, but
I got a weird feeling. The more Will Levis continues to fall down the board, the more I think it's likely the Eagles trade out of 30. I
agree.
think, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about so that's his name, Will Levis. Because I remember mentioning in the very beginning of our stream, like at 30, because I know there was talks if that quarterback, Will Levis, is still there at around 30, teams are gonna want to get him. And we can take advantage of that. But we shall see. We shall see.
I just had a bit of a coughing attack here. Sorry.
No, you're good. Take your time, bro. You're good. I'm looking at seeing how this Celtics game is closing out. As I was saying, that's why it's good to have 2. It's good to have 2 people on this stream. Oh man, let's see. Oh, dang. The Hawks just hit a 3, and then Marcus Smart, out of all people, hits another 3. So now Boston is up 8 with 1:30 left in the fourth quarter. So the Hawks hit their shot to cut it to 5, and then Boston answered right back. Tatum has 30. Jaylen Brown has 32. Trae Young has 30. And, yeah. Dang.
All right, here we go. The run-on wide receivers have been going.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Now we're looking at the pick,
Johnson,
right?
And now it is Zay Flowers going to Baltimore.
Wow. To Baltimore.
Yep.
I know Lamar Jackson just got paid too, so I mean, hey, now they reward him with a first-round wide receiver. I don't really know though. Like, how do you feel about this pick for Baltimore?
I mean, it's what they needed. We all know they needed a wide receiver, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what he wanted. He wanted a wide receiver. They're going to give him one, and I just hope it doesn't turn out to be Marquise Brown-ish. But see, here's the thing, though. I never thought of Lamar Jackson being that quarterback that could just stand in the pocket and beat you with his arm. I just never – and he reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. That's what he reminds me of. A lot of Cam Newton.
I got you. Yeah, no, I mean Lamar Jackson is an electric talent. It's just when you are a running quarterback, you have to be careful with the hits. And even with Hurts, like Hurts, even though Hurts is strong, that's something that we always are gonna have to worry about. So that's just part of the territory though. Like you the big explosive plays, that's what Lamar gives you. But like you said though, like being able to add to that throwing his arm. And I think part of helping Lamar is getting weapons. I mean, he hasn't really had, I mean, he's had Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, but like I know Odell's there now, right? But like, you know, like maybe he needs some weapons on the outside, and who knows, right? You give him some weapons on the outside, maybe that might elevate his passing game. So, I mean, that's what it took with Hurts, right? Like Devontae Smith got him to one level, and then AJ Brown got him to another. So you never know with these quarterbacks. It's just the ones that run. You just got to be careful with the amount of hits they take.
So now that we've seen this bit of a run go on the wide receivers,
Yep.
I could see Minnesota taking Joey Porter Jr. here.
Yeah, no, they need a corner.
Yeah, their defense is very, very suspect.
Yeah, their defense was horrible.
I could see them going cornerback here.
I know. I was gonna say, like, that's another stat too. Patrick Peterson, I believe, was like one of 4 corners age 32 and up that actually played more than like 500 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So like they need a corner big time. So
yeah, I can see them going corner here. I can see this being a Joey Porter pick. After them will be Jacksonville. Ooh.
Yep. But Jacksonville, you got to remember they have what's his name? Ridley. Ridley's coming back from his 1-year suspension.
Yeah, but outside of Ridley, how much like do you really think there is?
I mean, they got Ridley, they got Kirk, they got Zay Jones. Like they have some like they're not like big splash names, but I mean the Jaguars, they won a division and they did win a playoff game with that same receiving corps. So like I mean, and they're getting Calvin Ridley. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't take a wide receiver. Now, like, because that's another thing too. Like Calvin Ridley is a really good wide receiver. It sucks what happened to him, but like, he could be. I wouldn't be surprised if they, if they didn't go wide receiver here. But who knows though? I mean, like you said, there's a lot of wide receivers on the board right now. So,
who's left outside of that group that was the top tier in this draft?
Here, I'm pulling it up now. I got you. I'm looking to see it like best available, and then we'll go from there. So let's see who's best available right now. So best available. You have a tight end, Utah. You have obviously Will Levis is still there. You have Nolan Smith. I'm trying to look at the wide receivers. You have Jordan Addison. You have a couple tight ends that are still on the board. You have Deontay Banks from Maryland. That's a corner. Yeah, other than wide receiver, bro, it's just best available is Jordan Addison right now. And then everybody else, I believe, is round 2.
Is that the kid from USC?
Yes. Yep.
Wow, he's still on the board?
Yeah, so he's still on the board. Yeah. So I know we got 7 picks left until the Eagles pick. So hopefully like the tune man, like he said, right? Like we don't want to be waiting here all this time and then they trade back. We're gonna be so salty, man. Yeah. Oh man. Sheesh.
Wow, I can't believe why is Edison still on the board?
Man, oh man.
I remember watching a couple USC games. This kid.
I know. The stud, man. We really got Jalen Carter. I am so happy for that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I can dig it.
I'm a fan. Incredible. Incredible. And I'm just looking at Carter's. Yeah, it's looking like Boston's gonna win, bro.
Yeah,
So-
it was. They were down 6 with 20 seconds left. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a wrap. That's game. Ball game.
Yeah, and they're one of the Atlanta players got fouled on a 3-point shot, made only one of the 3 free throws. You can't win like that. They're done.
You'll go 1 out of 3 for them, but he'll sink all 3 against us, right?
Yep. That's how it goes, man. So Boston looks like they're advancing. I will say though, Atlanta gave them a bigger fight than I expected. So
Yeah, I can't be mad at it. I appreciate them for taking them as far as they could.
I know
So-
gave Embiid 2 extra days. He should be good to go.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, like a sprain, I looked it up. Like he has a grade 1 sprain. I believe it's a week and a half. It's right around the avenue he's been resting. So I mean, because he hasn't played since last Thursday, so it's been a full week now.
Yeah.
Since he sprained it. So it's been a full week already, and by Monday it'll be a week and a half. So it's like I could see what the Sixers could try to do is, all right, game 1, we're not going to play him. We're going to try and see if we can steal a game without him. If we win, he doesn't play game 2 either. If we lose, he plays game 2. I think that's a stupid mindset, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is on the table, knowing the Sixers.
Yeah.
I love the Sixers, but they think about these things a little too much, you know.
Oh boy, I'm getting tired here. Like, come on, guys.
I know.
I feel like a team doesn't need 10 minutes to make a pick.
Well, remember, we were there live. We stood.
Yeah, you remember that?
I know. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's why once the Eagles pick, we're like, yeah, we gotta get out of here. Not only was the pick not what we wanted, but we stood out here for like 3 hours because we had a great spot. We were.
The thing is, we had got there early.
Yeah, I know.
We got there early, so we were standing a lot longer than what the draft was covered for.
Yeah. It was cool though to see the behind the scenes though of
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's part of the live stream. This is
So you guys, come on. You guys got to have an idea who you picked here. Come on. You don't need to go down to 000.
I know.
Jesus.
Yeah, so there's only like one real wide receiver left for first round. The other guys are going to be our round 2 guys. But there's a couple of really good secondary players right now, Dante. So you got Will Levis, right? You have Dalton from Utah. You have Nolan Smith. You have Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame. Joey Porter, like we mentioned. Miles Murphy, a DN from Clemson. I know we've been talks about working with possibly him or Nolan Smith at the 30th pick. You have Jordan Addison, the USC guy. Deontay Banks from Maryland, a corner. Brian Branch, a safety. I know a safety is something of need, but do you get one in the first round? That's something the Eagles I don't really see doing. So there's a lot of names here. So who knows? Maybe someone, and I'm just looking though. It's like in terms of like the team. So you got Jacksonville. They're probably going to go defense. The Giants. Yeah. So. Yeah, Jonathan Mingo is he's a 2nd round draft grade. That's what they're saying on ESPN. So just giving you a heads up.
So looking at it, the Vikings are going Jordan Addison, wide receiver from USC, who we just brought up.
Yep. And I don't know why they should have gotten a corner. They have no secondary help, but oh well, that's good for us. Good for the Eagles, you know? Because if Porter is still there at 30, like you and Connor Thomas said, you got to get it.
Yep. So this is wow. Will Levis has fallen this far.
Yep.
What is it? What's going on?
Man.
Who does Jacksonville take? I'm trying to think. Who would Jacksonville take?
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I'm still so shocked that you got Connor Thomas on here, man.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. That's my boy. We first met uh 2 years ago, 3 years ago at one of their events that they hosted. And thing is, I would always call in, but I would never see like I never interacted with them in person. So whenever I would call in, it was like, he would be the one to pick up the phone call and I'd be like, yo, it's me, Dante from the Northeast, and we'll just, hit it right off. And they had the event, the well, the event that they hold in the Fan Fest event,
Yes, FanFest.
yeah, that they have up at Xfinity Live, and I would go. And the one year I caught him backstage. Oh wait, there's been a trade. There's been a
Yep,
trade.
yep, yep. There's been a trade. Jaguars. I just got the alert. They trade their pick to the Giants. So the Giants are trading up here.
So yeah, so I caught him backstage, and I'm like, yo, it's me, Dante from the Northeast, and ever since then, I'll try to go to some events that they have, and talk to the guys, let them know who I am, and built the relationship with obviously built the relationship with Connor, because I was able to work with him a little bit. One of my old basketball coaches in high school grew up with Anthony Gargano. They grew up together, so he was able to get me to contact with him and meet him and have talk to him on the phone and stuff like that off the air. So you know
That's big time, man.
networking and connections and stuff like that.
That's big time.
But yeah, brother. So I just say why not reach out to Connor and see how it is, and why not it's like I just looked at it as I mean pause in this sense, but it was like a female you want to get to meet, you introduce her. Why not just shoot your shot?
Yeah. And wish we had this video set up, man. But other than that, that was good though. That was good. Man. And that's the thing with the draft. Now we reached the point where if we were live streaming a game, the game is over.
Yeah.
And we're done our post game. Like we're done our post game.
This is now longer than an average baseball game now.
Yeah, I know. And then we still have 6 more picks left to go. I might have to charge my laptop.
I'm not gonna lie, brother. I think I'm out after this one.
Yeah.
I think I am. This is killing me right here.
And I was gonna say we have an early morning. Well, Connor Thomas has the earliest morning.
He has the earliest morning, but we have an early morning too.
And I gotta deal with these crazy behind kids.
Oh shoot, that's a good one.
Nah, they're good kids. Just gotta make sure you have the energy.
Yeah, I understand, bro. 100%.
Man. Sheesh. So now Boston won. So Sixers Boston. That's gonna be Monday, game 1. Let me know if you're free that Monday. We can we'll do a little live stream. I'm gonna talk to Isaiah about this video stuff. Let's figure out what the heck's going on with it. But yeah, so by Monday I'll figure that out. So and then we'll be good. I'll post all the audio too for our first podcast. I'll just take all the audio we have from here. I'll cut out like the long pauses or something, but
Yeah. No, I got you, brother.
Because
I just got word on who they picked.
Yeah.
They went cornerback Deonte Banks.
So that must be a guy that they wanted.
I'm assuming so. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, because I think he would have still. I think he still would have been there in a couple more picks. I think for them, they were like, yeah, we need to get our guy. Because I know Dallas is getting close to picking too. So.
Yeah. So, but listen, brother, I'm about to log off this bad boy. I can't do it no more for the rest of the night.
I got you. It's all good. I know what we'll do is, if you're free this weekend, we can talk. We'll do like a little draft recap podcast too.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
we,
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
We'll
so we,
talk
yeah,
about your text.
yeah, so we have like this is our live broadcast, right? And then we'll do like our own little side podcast covering like the draft, So we can do that this weekend or whatever. Just let me know. All right.
You got it, brother.
All right. Well, for everybody, I know we got the pick 24. So this is our first ever live stream. Welcome to Swoop Podcast. Josh
This is what
Sanchez,
happens
Dante
when you're not in
Reunite.
college anymore,
I
and
know.
we can't hang. I can't hang like I once used to. I can't do it anymore. Like
Nah, you're not wrong. I'm the same way. It's not the same anymore. But
if this was any other night, I would have been asleep 3 hours ago.
yeah, I know. Same here.
So,
But I will say thank you, Dante, again. Thank you for everyone that listened to this live stream. Hopefully the Eagles will talk about that, who they take at 30 or if they trade it back and all that stuff. Shout out to Connor Thomas for coming in too. Man, oh man. So I'll post this. Again, the recording, the audio version will be out on Spotify and stuff. Just check out Swoop Podcast. And yeah, not a bad first episode. Working the kinks, fixing out all the video stuff, and we'll go from there. So all right, Dante, take it easy.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And this is Dante Fan Tuesday of Swoop Podcast. Checking out.
Yep, swoop. Man, I miss saying that. But yeah, take it easy, guys.
All right, brother.